Please don't spoil the movie
by adding your own soundtrack. And we have arrived. We're back for you, my friends. Hi, my name is Kim Possible. Call me Beat Me.
My name is Winifred Sanderson.
That's a good one. And welcome back to Please Don't Spoil the Movie, a podcast brought to you by two sisters who love each other.
Upon occasion. Don't forget to like, rate,
yes,
subscribe,
download,
all the fun things.
Yes. Follow us on our
comment, even if it's a bad comment.
Oh God. Follow us on our socials.
Please, please don't spoil. That's our Instagram. Our TikTok is
Don't Spoil the Movie.
Don't spoil the movie. We have a Pinterest. I don't know the other handles.
Everything else should be Please Don't Spoil the Movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome back. How are you?
Party.
How are you, doll face?
I am fine.
Fabulous, darling. Fabulous.
I am fine. Don't have any new developments. Mm-hmm. I have some horrific dating experience that has, plagued my life recently.
Oh, wow.
But that's about it.
You feel like sharing?
Sure. Maybe it'll make me feel better.
Okay. I'm scared.
As you should be.
Oh, God.
Okay. So let's dive in.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's one situation. I'm not gonna dive into that one. But okay, so recently over, Memorial Weekend was not too long ago, right? So I was talking to this guy who worked at Dillard with me, and he ended up, when I first met him, I thought he was so cute. I was like, oh my God, love him. I'm obsessed. He's gonna be my boyfriend. Turned out he had a girlfriend. Whatever. Months go on. I was going to leave. This is right before I did the pageant. And I was going to California for 2 weeks. I run into him out. And he comes up to me. He's like, oh my God, you look so good tonight. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you. I was like, oh my God, thank you. And he was just like, guess what? I was like, what? And he was like, oh, I'm not going to be working at Dillon anymore. I was like, oh, where are you going? He was like, oh, I'm moving to DC. And I was like, DC? And I was like, oh, well, all the best of luck to you. And he's like, no, but I want to get your number. I want us to talk, blah, 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 blah. I was like, don't you have a girlfriend? He was like, no, we've been broken up since September. And this is January. I was like, September? I was like, you mean you've been broken up with your girlfriend since September and we're in January? You mean, I was like, at this point, me and you could be married, engaged, and have a baby on the way at this point.
So it's the gag isn't that he has a girlfriend, is it?
No.
Okay. That's what I was waiting.
That's not the gag. That's not the gag. This is the side story to really build us up into the next situation. So, lo and behold, he doesn't have a girlfriend. They had broken up in freaking September. It was January. I was freaking pissed. I was like, oh, whatever.
Right.
And then so I was literally, this was the day before I was going to California for 2 weeks. I was leaving on a Sunday. This is a Saturday night.
Okay. So we're not at Memorial Weekend anymore.
No, this is back in January, right before I did the pageant. Okay. This is when this is occurring. So I was like, oh, and he was like, I really, I've had a crush on you for a while. I was like, why didn't you say anything?
Love that word.
And then he was like, I honestly didn't think you liked me. And I was like, well, we've wasted 5 months here. And then I was like, well, when are you moving to DC? And he's like, oh, next week. And I was like, well, I'm leaving for California tomorrow. So I was like, well, this is
right.
Thanks. I was like, well, what
information.
Shitty timing, right? So, anywho, but we got each other's numbers. We stayed in contact, and we had been talking the whole while that he had been in DC. And then he kept on telling me, Memorial Weekend. Well, not Memorial Weekend, but he was like, in May, I'm going to come down for the summer for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So he ended up coming down. We were supposed to go out Memorial Weekend. Long story short, he ghosts the living shit out of me. Crickets. Crazy town.
So the moment he landed in New Orleans, stopped texting you, or you had plans?
He was there. He was in town. So this is Memorial Weekend, right? He had been in town since the weekend before Memorial Weekend, but his little brother was graduating from high school.
He's busy.
He was, apparently his grandmother was sick. I was like, I don't really believe that.
He was hanging out with his ex.
Yeah. That's what I think it was. That's literally what I think it was. But anywho, his grandmother was sick. So I was like, I gave him his little time. I was like, okay, you've been here for a week. Now it's mine. It's me time. Right. Okay, what are we doing? Right. So, I'm like, okay. And he's like, literally up until January, till he touches down in New Orleans. I can't wait to take you out on a date. I'm so obsessed with you. I've had a crush on you so long, blah, blah, blah. This is where I want to go. You're so fine. Blah, 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 blah. I text him the day of. I'm like, okay, so what exactly are we doing today?
Radio
silence.
This is after the week of like he's been busy.
He's been in town. He's like
tomorrow's
I've been and he's like tomorrow's radio silence. And I was like, so what are we doing today? Nothing. Crickets. So then I followed up with him like 2 hours later, and I was like, well, I guess nothing.
See you in hell.
See you in holy hell. See you in hell. And literally nothing. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I just
so weird.
So confused.
How old is this young man?
They're always younger than me for whatever reason. If I'm 27, he's probably like 25, maybe 24. I don't know.
So he's like 22 and boy age.
Yeah, 19. So was very confused, had a meltdown about that, right? I was like, what? I was like, where is my man? Why is the universe not cutting me a break, right? Had a meltdown. So then when I think there's a little glimmer of hope, right? Okay, so that was Memorial Weekend. What day are we on now? Today is now January 12th, right? June 12th, excuse me, January 12th. Today is now June 12th. That was Memorial Weekend when all that happened. So then June 1st, okay? So that was June 1st. We had a photo shoot for the Saints. Paris Parker, our hair sponsor, we had a photo shoot for them, right? I am, for those of you who don't know, the Saints organization is owned.
I thought you were about to say, for those who don't know, I'm a Saints cheerleader. I was like, whoa. I don't think we need to walk down that.
We don't need a recap. Yeah. We all get it. Okay, the Saints and the Pelicans organization is under the same they're owned by the same woman.
Company.
Right.
Yeah.
Same lady. So we have the same director, right? So a lot of the people on Pels know a lot of the people on Saints, right? So I had like no people on Pels, and I follow a few of them, right? One of the guys who was a dancer for the Pelicans, right? He posted a dude way back when, this was some months ago. He posted a dude on his Instagram story with another, like it was like him and a girl and another dude. And I messaged him, something in my being said, figure out who this is. So I messaged him and I was like, who's that guy?
Are these stories connected?
Yes. Okay. Well, no. They just, it's like a dumping. Okay. It's just like piles of sewage and shit that has just fallen upon me in my dating life. So, because remember, this is Memorial Weekend, okay? So now we're back. This is, now we're in the past again. Okay, so this is months ago. I messaged the guy on Pels. I saw him. He posted somebody, a hot dude, in his Instagram story months ago. And I messaged him. I was like, who is that? And he was like, oh, that's my brother. And I said, oh, he's really attractive. Does he live down here? He was like, no, he lives in Nashville. And I was like, thanks for your time. Goodbye. Right. And then he was like, what? He was like, but he's, really sweet. And if you think he's cute, you should DM him. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, send me his Instagram. So he sent me his Instagram. So I got his whole Instagram. I was like, he's hot as hell. Fine, gorgeous, handsome. And I was like, okay, I was like, and he was like, yeah, he's really easy on the eyes. And he was like, if you want, I can tell him about you, or you can DM him, whatever.
You can get this going.
And I was like, yeah, tell him about me. And he never did it. So he took too long. So I ended up sliding in his DMs, right? So I slid in his DMs. I was like, hey, I'm friends with so-and-so. He told me about you. I just wanted to introduce myself because I thought you were attractive. And he was like, oh my God, really appreciate you reaching out. Blah, blah, blah. He was being very dry via the DMs. Oh. I was probing all of the questions. And after a while, I was like, okay, time to wrap this crap up. I was like, okay, look, if you're ever in New Orleans, maybe hit me up. I don't know. I can't tell your energy. And then out of nowhere, he was like, no, absolutely. I think you're amazing. I would love to hang out. And I was like, okay, I can't really read you, but great. I'm glad to hear that the efforts weren't wasted, right? Okay, so that was months ago, right? So then Memorial Weekend happened. I got ghosted from the dude who worked at Dillard in D.C., right? That was whatever Memorial Weekend was. What was that, like the 20th or something? So May 31st, the day before I have the photo shoot, for Paris Parker with the Saints, okay? I get a text message from the guy who I DM, okay? He's real handsome. He's from Oakland, right? That's where he lives.
Oh, okay.
Because that's where the guy who dances from Pels, he's from Oakland, right? So he's from Oakland. He texts me at 10 o'clock on Wednesday and says, hey, Jade, it's so-and-so. I just landed in your city. And I was like, hey, how are you? How was the flight? Great. Fast forward, he's like, what are the chances of me getting you to come out tonight? I said, 0. Absolutely not. It's 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. I'm not leaving my bed.
Right.
And then I texted him. I said, no, I'm not leaving. Absolutely not. 0 chance. And I was like, tomorrow, because the photo shoot, I was leaving work early.
Right.
I was like, I have free time tomorrow if you want to like link up then. He was like, well, I'm only in town for 2 days. And I was like, well, this is all I'm offering you. Right. And he was like, okay, that'll work. Like, I'll text you. And I said, great. So photo shoot comes, all pretty, got my hair done, makeup done. Fast forward, after the photo shoot, a couple of me and the teammates, we go out, we go to like, a bar, we sit there. It's like 10 o'clock, okay? Mm-hmm. The night's starting to end because it's Thursday, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, well, no text from him. Guess I'm going home. As I'm walking to my car, he texts me. He says, hey, Jade, sorry, I know I'm keeping you out late. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do for the night. And I said, you're lucky. I was getting in my car and I was going home. I was like, where are you? And he was like, we're at Walk-Ons. And I said, great, I'm going to come to Walk-Ons. He said, okay, cool. I drive to Walk-Ons.
Downtown?
Yes, on Poydras. So I'm making my way to Walk-Ons. He's taking like, in between those text messages, he was taking a while to respond. So I was like, oh, where are you? It took him like 10 minutes. So I was like, okay. Like I was sitting in my car. I was like, let's go.
Right.
Respond to me. So he finally texted me. He's like, oh, we're at Walk-Ons. I make my way to Walk-Ons, right? I drive up to Walk-Ons. It wasn't far from where I was because I was already downtown. I'm getting out of my car and stuff. I'm not looking at my phone, right? Because I'm like fixing my lipstick, looking in the mirror. I noticed that he's texting me, but I'm not reading the text messages because I'm already at Walk-Ons.
Right.
So I get out of the car. I'm walking into the door. As I'm walking in, I spot him, and he's with the dude, the Pels dancer.
His brother.
Yeah, his brother. They're not really brothers. I found that out. Okay. I found out that they're not really brothers. Okay. I'm walking to the door. As I'm walking in, I've spotted him and his brother, the Pels dancer. I've spotted them. I'm reading the text messages as I'm walking in. I've locked eye contact with them. Are you ready, George? Are you ready to hear what these text messages say? It's so great that I can laugh about it now because crying spell. Just like horrific. He texts me.
What did you say? It says,
it's so funny. It's so funny. It makes me want to cry. It's like so fateful. Oh my God. So I'm walking. I've locked eyes with him. He texts me. We just pulled off. We just pulled off. Blank, his brother, was not feeling well. I don't know if it's him and his, because the Pels dancer, he's gay. So he was like, I don't know if him and his dude are getting into it or he's sick, but I think he's trying to stay in. I'm sorry. I wish I had more time in the city, but I will be back again this summer. We pulled off. He's sitting at the bar. There is no we pulled off. They're sitting at the bar. I'm looking at them. As I'm reading these text messages, I'm making eye contact with them. I'm reading we just pulled off as I'm looking at him sit at the bar.
Why would he not call you for that? Okay, keep going.
Mortified, right?
And then what happened after that? Did you turn around?
No, everyone asks me that. Everyone gives that's always the number one question. Did you turn around? No. Something in my being, for whatever reason, says embarrass yourself further and go up to them and sit down.
I don't think that's embarrassing. That'd be like, bitch. It's actually kind of funny. It's a great story.
Then I go up to them, right? I say hello to the Pels dancer. I say hello to his brother. But as I'm walking up, a girl who dances for the Pelicans also emerges at the same time. So while I'm saying hello to the Pelicans, the male Pelicans dancer brother, we're gonna call this guy PhD because he's getting his PhD. Okay. So as I am walking up and I'm saying hello to PhD guy, the female Pelicans dancer is saying hello to the male Pelicans dancer,
the gay one.
Yes, and I know this girl, right? I've seen this girl before. We have a mutual friend. Right. Have I
met her?
No, you have not. No. We're together Halloween night. Like, I have met this girl before. We have been in each other's faces. Okay. So I see her, and now I'm kind of catching on what the we pulled off was about. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, hey, girl. Hey, good to see you. And she's looking at me like, hey. Oh, God. Like, she's never seen me a day in her life. And I said, oh, okay, here we go.
She light-skinned?
No, she's brown-skinned. Oh. And I was like, okay, this is what we're on here. So then I sit down next to PhD, PhD is sitting next to his brother who dances for the Pelicans. Then it's the Pelicans dancer, the male dancer, his boyfriend, and then the female Pelicans dancer. She's sitting on the end. So I sit down, I say hey to him, PhD, and I'm just like, hey, like, am I interrupting something? Because I can go home.
Right.
And then he's ultimately like, no, like that's male Pelicans dancer's teammate. I've never met her before, blah, 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 blah.
Liar!
Right. And then I say to him, and he was like, I'm not sure. I've never met her before. And then something along the lines, I was like, oh, well, I know her name. I insert her name. I was like, I know her. We've met before. We have a mutual friend. Right. So then as the conversation goes on, once again, just like he was dry in them DMs, he was dry once again upon arrival. Like 1 minute he would be like engaged in the conversation, and then another minute he would be like really not off-putting, but just like standoffish. I was like, are you acting like this because you got caught? I was like, right. I was like, are you, because he is a nerd, because he's getting his PhD in quantitative biology. And I was like, clearly you might not have social cues. So I was like, are you socially awkward? Like, why are you acting like an idiot? And then the Pelicans dancer was also acting very rude to me as well. And I was like, I'm going to block both of you by the end of this night. Yeah. So.
When'd you leave? Should hit it one time. I'm going to the bathroom and just left out the door.
I don't know why. I thought like the situation was going to get better, but it just didn't.
Yeah.
So then I tell PhD, I was like, yes, I know her. We have a mutual friend. We've met before, blah, 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 blah. Moments later, like maybe 10 minutes later, she peeps her head to the side and is like, so what's your name again? Talking to me. She's like, how do I know you again? What's your name? I was like, come on, sis. Like, be for real. Like, we're supposed to be on the same team here.
Right.
But she's like playing like a little Miss Confused. She's never seen me before. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So then now I feel, right. So now I feel even more like egg on my face because I just told him, oh yeah, like I know her. And he's like, and then she's like, mom's like, who are you? How have we met? And I was like, all right, well. And then so the conversation is like, whatever. He's like, so he tells me, he was like, yeah, I don't think we're going to go out tonight. Like, I'm tired. We might head back to the hotel, wherever they were staying, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, yeah, I think we're about to head out now. And he was like, do you want to walk out with us? And I was like, sure, I guess, yeah. So I get up. We're walking out. One thing that is a huge red flag and should be a red flag to all women is when a man walks in front of you.
Oh. The girl, we had a lot of red flags.
But when a man walks in front of you, like he's literally walking in front of me and I'm walking in the back by myself. And I was like, okay, now I'm pissed. Now I'm livid. So then we get outside. Right. The female Pels dancer, she's like, she continues on. And it's just like, wait, so how do I know you again? She's just like, wait, so what times did we hang out? And I was like, we hung out this time and this time. And she was like, oh, okay, now I remember, I think. Yeah.
Well, next time you see her, and be like, who are you again?
Right, literally. And then so, what happened? And then she was like, so then she followed it up with, so are you coming out with us?
Exactly, right.
And then I was like, well, no, because per his mouth, he told me he was calling
did
it for
he hear
the night.
you?
No, I don't know if he did.
You gotta speak loud.
But I was like, you know what? Per his mouth, he was calling it for the night.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, okay, well, this has been the most miserable and awkward moment of my entire life. I said, y'all be easy.
Did you say that part?
I said, no, I was just like, y'all be easy. Goodbye. Good night.
Girl, you need to make if you're uncomfortable, you need to make everybody uncomfortable. Everyone needs to hear you. Might as well. You sat there. You can't be the only uncomfortable person. They all need to feel the ick. We're all feeling the ick. Next time, say it loud.
I don't know why I felt like I was stuck in a steel pipe and literally couldn't do anything in that moment besides like try to play it.
I don't know why either.
Off. But oh my God.
You should have been like, well, I feel uncomfortable. And walk out the door. You don't know these people.
Right. I don't know. I guess when I first sat down, I was like, am I interrupting something? And he said no.
He's a liar. He is a pussy. He is a loser, and he can't speak his mind, and he's an idiot. I would say that on top of that. Clearly, he's getting a PhD. Does he have any mental skills to work the streets? Because he clearly are only going to the books.
Like, clearly you have no game whatsoever because you don't even know how to lie properly.
Right.
You're not even good at it. You don't even know.
Like, you can tell the truth?
Right. I was like, you don't even know how to handle or dabble in having 2 dates at one time and like shake it off and play it off well. So then I ended up texting our mutual friend that me and this female dancer had in common. And she was like, well, she reached out to me. And basically, the girl, she ultimately apologized for how she acted towards me. She was like, I feel like I was probably coming off a little bitchy.
Oh, she needs to say that. She needs to say that in front of everybody.
Right. She was like, I think I was probably coming off a little rude. And I wasn't trying to, but I could feel how I was.
Yeah,
and,
stupid.
She also said, per her conversation with her, that she didn't know anything about PhD guy. She didn't know. So what she said to our mutual friend was like, oh, and I walked up and she was with a guy and I assumed they were on like a date or something. So what I think it was, the male dancer, was like, hey, I'm out. Well, no. This is what I think it was. Okay, so the male dancer in PhD, right? PhD was probably like, who on the team with you is single? And he's probably like, oh, this girl. And he was like, oh, I like her. Talking about the female dancer.
Right.
And then he was like, invite her out tonight. And then the male dancer did that. And then that's when he was like, let me text Jade and be like, oh, I'm not going out tonight. I pulled off, blah, 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 because the female dancer was now arriving.
Why? Like, that's too close. Are you asshole?
I know, right?
It's not like, you texted her an hour ago, she's not showed up, we left. Like, you texted me 10 minutes, like, I told you I was here 5, like, what?
Right.
So both of them are blocked, right? All 3 of these people.
Well,
yes.
The girl, I never followed her to begin with.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the first guy and these two couple guys.
Okay. Oh yeah, DC guy is definitely blocked. Yeah, he's 100%. That when I said, what are we doing? And I followed up with, I guess nothing. He still didn't respond. Then had the nerve to watch my Instagram story later that night. He's blocked. Yeah. Now I didn't really feel it necessary to block the PhD guy because it was just like, this was the first time.
Are you following him anyways?
I unfollowed him. We were following each other, but I unfollowed him.
Perfect. And then were you following the dancer?
Yes.
He could be unfollowed.
I should unfollow him. I probably will.
Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's not forget. Let's go ahead and unfollow him right now.
The only reason why I'm hesitant...
Let's unfollow him right now.
Listen, hear me out.
I don't care. Let's unfollow him right now.
The only reason why I'm hesitant to unfollow him is because, like...
Fine, you need him.
That I did do. I did do. We will be in spaces together. Like, we will have scavenger hunts between my team and his team, and we will have
he ain't on your team.
You're right. Oh, my God.
Can we take a moment when you get back? I just want to take a moment to conjure, the earth, the goddesses, the energy, and to spit on their grave. Will you? I'm like, we're gonna spit real quick. Like, can I get a spit from you? 2 spits. 2 spits. Thank you. And I welcome everyone at home to also spit on these men's graves.
I have never. It was just like back to back to back because it was like Memorial Weekend with the DC dude, and then when PhD guy texted me, I was like, oh my goodness, a silver lining to this horrible situation that I just experienced with the DC dude, and then that crap happened. Okay. We just pulled off. It was just that's the part. That's the part that really gets me every single time. Is we just pulled off as I'm looking at them sitting at the bar.
You should have done one or two things. Left immediately, or 2 been like, well, since you guys are pulling off soon, I guess I'll see you later, and then walk out. You cannot, like, everyone needs to be uncomfortable. I'm sure, like, even more uncomfortable. They need to know you're uncomfortable.
I was like, oh my God,
how gross are they? So
I was like, this is really just like a shithole of a dating pool that I have found myself in.
Men are terrible.
Some of the worst I've ever seen. I was like, is this what's out here? And I had high hopes for both of these two. One of them.
Not so much the second guy, but maybe the first guy for sure.
The first guy for sure, because the longevity of how much we were talking and how much he was like literally, I'm so obsessed with you, blah, 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 blah. I've had a crush on you ever since I saw you, blah, 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 blah. And then crickets. But I had high hopes for PhD guy because he was getting his PhD. I was like, on paper, he was giving husband material.
Yeah, maybe he's not getting his PhD. He needs to get social skills.
Yeah, that's what he needs to get. A degree in how to treat women 101.
Right, or a grave site. I can help you pick one out.
Girl.
Well, I wish them all the worst.
The worst.
Truly, honestly.
Truly.
I'm sorry that happened to you, sis. Maybe it's maybe this is a silver lining of something good happening.
Come on, universe. I've taken 2 hits. I don't want another one. Can I get a win, please?
Right. You have to watch these niggas from afar. I can't believe the first one. The second one, whatever. But the first one, whatever.
Girl, I couldn't believe it. Jordan, I really wish you could. Literally every text message, I've been obsessed with you so much. I'm so glad that we finally talking. I just can't wait to come down to New Orleans and see you. I can't wait to take you out on a date. I've been obsessed with you. You're so gorgeous. I'm so lucky. Just bullshit after bullshit after bullshit.
He must have gone back with his girlfriend.
That's what I was saying. So when I was telling my coworkers, this is what it is. He moved to DC for an internship. I don't know if internships out there in DC pay. So they think he didn't have the money. They think he was talking a lot of how shit really, really came down to it. He didn't have the money to take me on a date. That's what they think it is. I think... right. That's even worse. I think he linked up with his girlfriend. I think his ex. Girlfriend. That's what I think.
He can afford a $50 date.
I was like, he can ask his parents. Right. I was like, he's out there paying DC rent, and I know he's not paying it. His parents are probably paying it. Yeah. He can afford... First of all, I shouldn't want anybody like that anyway, who's like... I mean, I'm still living on my parents' dime. But it's different because I'm a woman. But I shouldn't want anybody... Well, I don't know who's paying his rent, but I would have to heavily assume it's his parents because he just has an internship. Right. It's not like he's like a White House staffer. Right.
Even they need help too. But yeah. No, he definitely linked up with his girlfriend.
So yeah, that's what I think it is as well. What about you? What's going on in your life?
Excuse me. Nothing much. I went on a trip. Movie-wise, to change the subject, it's also a very sad movie, I watched The Whale with the guy from The Mummy.
Oh, you did? How was it?
It was so good. I enjoyed it so much.
It was so good?
I mean, sad.
My 600-pound life super episode was good.
I was watching it on the plane to Phoenix. In like the last
that's minutes. When you gotta watch. That's where you have to watch movies like that, literally on an airplane. Yes, because you'll never watch it in any other setting.
I boo-hooed them last 10 minutes. I was like,
so what is it about? He's just obese, and he's
obese. He's about to die, and he wants to reconnect with his daughter before he goes. And you see like. You just see, like, he has, like, one connection with, like, an old friend. And, like, just... But the main thing is, like, he's trying to reconnect with his daughter before he goes. And, like, the last scenes with him and his daughter, he fucking got me. And I was like...
Did they tell him, like, oh, you have X amount of time to live or something?
So he has a friend who like, watches over him. She's a nurse. He refuses to go to the hospital. She's like, you need to go to the hospital. He's like, I don't want to go. And she's like, basically, like, your heart rate, your blood pressure is dangerous. Like, you're going to die at any moment, basically. So, yeah, he knows he's about to die, but he just... So he lost his boyfriend, died.
His boyfriend?
Yeah, he's gay. He's gay in here, yeah. So, the reason why he hadn't been talking to his daughter is because he left his wife for his gay lover.
Oh, okay.
His partner passes away, and ever since that, he became obese. And, so he's just never had... It, knocked him off or whatever, but yeah.
Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah, but he's so nice and pathetic. He's so nice.
Don't you hate when they're pathetic and sad?
Yeah, he's just like, come on. It's just like, and the nurse who helps him, she gives him this fat food, but it's just she can't help but give it to him. He's like, please, give me the
bacon.
Yeah, give me the chicken. And she's like,
give me the level 1 carcinogen, please.
Right. And he's just eating himself to death. That's his way. That's his addiction. That's his way of killing himself. It's
oh wow.
But it was really good. I cried my eyes off. But it's kind of sad. But it was really good.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I saw Little Mermaid.
Oh, how was it?
It was good.
I was supposed to see it with my teammates, but I really just was not up for it at all. But it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Someone told me it was really dark.
Okay.
No, just you know how you can't see anything.
Oh, I didn't think it was that dark.
Oh,
I don't think so. I did go at a bad time. I went on 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and I was like, oh, I didn't factor in these children. There's a lot of children. Oh, there. Really? Yeah, I should have went at night.
Oh, maybe so.
Or a weekday, but it was it was Children's Central.
Yeah, that's egg.
Yeah, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. Melissa McCartney did a great job as Ursula.
Yeah, I really want to see it.
Haley Bailey. Am I saying her name right? Because I always want to say Halle Berry. Haley Bailey
Yeah, that is tough.
Okay.
Because it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Haley Bailey. That just sounds goofy. Haley Bailey.
Haley Bailey.
What are you, 2?
Right. She did an amazing job. Of course, beautiful voice. It was a great job.
Okay. I'm going to have to watch it. Yeah. I'm going to have to go see it. I want to see it while it's in theaters. I don't want to miss it.
Yeah. I feel like the hype's died down by now, or like go
I know,
at night.
I think it's safe to watch it now.
Go at night.
I really wanted to watch it when my teammates wanted to go watch it, but I was like, Then when they were seeing it at 9 o'clock, I was like, we're not going to get out until like 1.
Oh, I'll fall asleep.
Yeah, I was like, I can't.
I'll fall asleep.
But
yeah, have you seen anything lately?
Nope. Besides, the Vanderpump
Rules, killing it.
That's about. Oh, you know what I started watching? Mm-hmm. They only have 1 episode, and I didn't even finish the episode. But The Idol, that's on HBO Max.
Oh,
that show
how
with The
was
Weeknd.
that?
Everyone's talking about how horrible it is. I don't know. Just like from the one, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. It's just one episode.
I can't gauge it from one episode, and like I can't really determine if when I'm watching it, I was like, do I think it's bad, or do I think it's bad because everyone people say it's bad? Right. So like now I'm thinking it's bad because everyone said it's bad.
Right.
So I don't know. But I will say I don't know why The Weeknd has that ponytail. He looks like his name should be Stavros.
Stavros.
It's just like,
is he wearing teeth? He's in fake teeth. I feel like his face is...
I don't know. He has the ponytail. He has a silk press ponytail.
LOL.
And I'm just very confused as to why. Like what year are we in? This is not 1979 in Florida.
It's current day.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's just like, what's with the... I just don't get the ponytail.
That's weird to think that he's acting now.
Yeah, and I don't like The Weeknd as a person or as an artist, so maybe that's why I'm also not... Yeah, I'm not into him. So I don't know.
I don't know if I'm into The Weeknd as an actor.
I don't like him at all. There's nothing about him that I like.
I don't really know his personality. I think it's for the best, but...
Yeah, I'm sure he's a shit personality.
I feel like he's kind of like Kanye West.
He's dated a lot of, none of them being black women, of course, but he's dated a lot of famous women. Selena Gomez, one of the Hadid girls. Don't ask me which one.
Do those girls have personalities? I don't know. Do they require a lot of personalities?
Right. But he's dated a lot of famous women.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Publicity. You know how they be. Also, I did see one more show. I saw Mrs. Davis on Peacock.
What's that?
About a nun. Who it's like during so it's like if Alexa was like became super powerful and like people talked to her and like she like gave us advice and stuff. So and like they call her Mrs. Davis.
That's the Alexa?
Yeah, that's the Alexa. It's like Mrs. Davis. But each country has a different name for her. But like the nun basically gets sent, doesn't want to talk to Mrs. Davis, doesn't like her, doesn't like the idea of it. But she gets sent on a quest by Mrs. Davis. And if she fulfills the quest, then she can choose at the very end of it if she wants Mrs. Davis' program to go away or to keep going. Oh. It's like millions of people all across the world, they like use her to like talk to for advice. Like it's very important to people.
Very important people.
It's really good. It's like funny and silly.
What's it on?
Peacock. A limited series.
Do we have Peacock?
I had to get it to watch
this.
I could give you my information, but I had to get it to
watch.
Who's
in it? Who's the star? Who's the nun? Do we know her?
I know her from this other movie I watched, The Hunt. I don't know if you remember. It was like, you've probably seen it. It had Hunt. It had what's her name? It had Emma Roberts in it. And it was like a movie where all these like Republican people were sent to like die. So terrible.
What a story. No, I've never seen that.
But that's her. This is her. That girl right there in the blue.
I don't think I've seen her before.
Yeah. I tell you, she's really good in the movie, and I really liked her from The Hunt. So when she was in Mrs. Davis, I was like, I'm into that.
Interesting.
Actually, there's a lot of shows on Peacock. I don't know what Peacock's going through. They got a lot of freaking shows that I'm like, I love that. Love that. I need to watch that. They have another like
just based off your description of it, it doesn't seem like it would be like funny and cute.
So it's just silly.
It doesn't look like, but based off your description of it, it doesn't sound like it would be at all.
She's being sent on a quest to find the Holy Grail. It's just like dumb. It's just like serious and silly. It's funny. It's not like, and she's cool. She's a cool nun. She sees Jesus. who's in.
She sees Jesus.
Yeah, like legit. She sees Jesus. And like her ex-boyfriend is like the leader of an underground resistant movement, and they like join together to like stop Mrs. Davis. It's like silly. It's cute. I like it.
Interesting.
And I love it. Limited series. Peacock also has another new show called based on a true story. It's like this this couple that starts to interview a serial killer that's currently, but it's like funny. I don't know. He's like actively being a serial killer, and they're like, we can put him on our podcast. We can make millions or something like that. It has a girl from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah. I know
Yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it. The guy, he's the love interest on the Mindy Project.
Oh, yes. That is him.
I love it. He's so cute.
He looks way cute on here than he did on the Mindy Project.
It's because he has a beard.
Oh, okay. But yes, that's it. So many shows to watch. But, do you want to tell us about...
Okay. With all that
kind of your story that you told kind of like ties into this movie. Trash Men.
Not really. I mean, Garbage Men, but that's about it. Think Garbage Men.
There we go.
Think Divorcees. Am I saying that right? Divorcees? Divorcees. Divorcees. Divorcees.
Diverse.
Think divorced women.
Yeah,
think feminism.
Period.
Think side chicks.
Yes.
Think gold diggers and sugar daddies.
Think she's 12.
Think suicide. Think revenge. Think fleeting beauty and youth. But at the end of the day, we still have friendship. And that leads us to, drum roll please, The First Wives Club! Oh
An oldie but a goodie.
Some of the best work that cinema has ever seen.
It's one of your favorite movies?
It's definitely up there. Definitely up there. This is chef's kiss of a
when
film.
you were like, I'm gonna do The First Wives Club. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Okay.
Chef's kiss of a film. Summary. Devastated over the marriage of her ex-husband to a younger woman.
Period.
A middle-aged divorcee plunges to her death via suicide from her New York penthouse. At the woman's funeral, her former college best friends, Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, and Diane Keaton, reunite for the first time in nearly 30 years.
Crazy.
When the three discover the reason for their friend's suicide, they realize that all of their ex-husbands have taken them for granted. And deciding it's time for revenge, they make a pact to get back at their ex-husbands, establishing the First Wives Club.
Lovely. Look at you. You did it in one go. Look at you go.
I still stumbled. It's because I have had a drink.
That sounded fine to me.
Oh.
Give me some. Is it time for me to guess?
No.
Okay.
The film was released on September 20th, 1996. And it's almost as old as us. Crazy.
September? You said September?
September 20th, 1996.
I feel like our last movie was in September.
Was it? What was the last movie we did?
Charlie's Angels.
Was it September?
You were like right around your birthday. Maybe it was October.
Oh.
September, October.
It's probably September. I wouldn't have said right around your birthday if it was October. The film was released September 20th, 1996 and is directed by Hugh Wilson and written by Robert Harling based on the novel of the same name. Never knew that.
That's why it's a good movie.
By Olivia Goldsmith, of course. The great movies are always books first.
Of course. Keep it up.
The budget? Would you like to guess? Like you have an option. How many?
No. I said this is 1996. 3 women, New York City. Is it 96 million? You look like you. No, I don't know. You looked happy when I said 1996.
There's a 6 in there. That's why.
Oh, okay. Okay, 60 million.
No.
16 million.
No, but that's better than.
26 million.
There you go. $26 million. The box office?
Oh, gots to be 26 million. Gots to be 100 mil.
Okay.
120 mil. Ooh, 150. 180?
$181 million.
No, that's a profit.
The film was a surprise box office success.
Damn, not surprised. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And later developed into a cult following and was the actresses, the main three, highest grossing projects of the decade.
Oh, lovely. I don't know. Yeah.
Nice?
I just know only one of them from Hocus Pocus. I can't think of the other.
You don't know the other one?
No,
Diane
I mean, they look...
Keaton?
I know they look familiar, but I can't think of another movie.
You know Diane Keaton.
I know the name. That's one? The one purple?
Diane Keaton is the homely one.
What is Diane Keaton?
She's in The Godfather. I feel like we've seen her now a lot in her older roles.
Diane Keaton?
Literally, everyone knows Diane Keaton. Don't make me pull up freaking film.
Here you go again. Diane Keaton. Let's see.
Just pull up her rap sheet. Something's Gotta Give.
Okay.
Father of the Bride.
Never seen it.
The Godfather. First wife.
The third The Godfather. Oh,
Because
wait.
I Said So.
Okay, no.
The Big Wedding. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, she's definitely...
The Family Stone. Mad Money. She's in those, like, you know, those white women, those feel-good white women films. Yeah. That's her.
Definitely
That's
older.
Diane Keaton.
Definitely in her older age.
Yeah, I feel like she's...
I'm going to have to watch The Godfather again to see where she's in The Godfather.
She's literally the main guy's wife.
Okay, right. I'm looking at it. I thought it was just the third one, but she seems to be in the first three. What's the other lady in?
Who? Goldie Hawn? You know who Goldie Hawn's daughter is?
No.
You kidding me?
Goldie.
Kate Hudson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fucking Nepo babies, man.
Right.
You're always like, oh, they started from the bottom. Oh, Death Becomes Her. She
looks
her.
Just like her, too, I feel like.
Oh, Snatched. I like her in Death Becomes Her.
Don't we all?
But not too many movies that I truly know, but yes. Okay. And what's the other lady's name?
Bette Midler.
Hocus Pocus, for sure.
Of course.
What else we got?
That's all we need her. That's all we need from Bette. Hocus Pocus. That's all we need to know.
Let's name another one for her.
Can't.
No. Oh, Stepford Wives.
Okay, yes. Stepford Wives.
And we're going to have to stop there because a lot of these are older. But yes. Yeah. Congratulations, ladies. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Tangent. Back on course.
Okay. So yes. I guess that makes sense why this was the
the highest
grossing film, because they're just like in like
small.
They're like we know them.
Right.
It's just like
mostly like small rom-com.
Yep. And it also helped revitalize their careers in film and television. I guess they weren't doing much up until this film. Composer Mark Mark Shaman was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Music Score for this film. And before I saw that, when I was watching this movie, I was like, this movie has like a lot of good music in the background.
I'm gonna have to watch it again because all I can think of is You Don't Know Me.
Like listening to the background, I was like, the way the music is placed in this movie, I was like, this is really good. And then look at that. He was nominated for Best Original Music Score.
You got the ear for it.
Goldie Hawn was awarded a Blockbuster Entertainment Award in both. Bette Midler and Diane Keaton received Satellite Award nominations for their roles. Very minor awards, but I felt it was worth noting. Right. Bette Midler and Goldie Hawn were the first of the trio to have landed their roles in the film. Mm-hmm. Although Bette Midler wanted to play the role of Elise at first. First of all, let's just dive into the cast first. Let me read that first. So Bette Midler as Brenda Mulroney Cushman, a wisecracking Sicilian Jewish single mother. Goldie Hawn as Elise Elliott, a former one-time Oscar-winning actress. They said it like, okay, first of all, it's really hard to win 2 Oscars like one time. That's all you need.
Right. It's hard to get
do you know how hard it is to get 1 Oscar, let alone 2? Mm-hmm. But whatever. A former one-time Oscar-winning actress, now an alcoholic and a heavy smoker. Diane Keaton as Annie. We don't need to know the last name. The vehicle for the film's narrator, basically. Mm-hmm. And also, I wouldn't say it's central character. I would say they're all central characters, but whatever. An anxious and slightly neurotic housewife. Yeah. Sarah Jessica Parker as Shelley Stewart. Yay. Morty's dim-witted, that is Brenda's husband. Shelley's dim-witted, but manipulative fiance. Dan Hadayi as Morty. Brenda's ex-husband, an electrics tycoon who takes advantage of his former wife having signed an out-of-court settlement. Stephen Collins as Aaron Paradise, Annie's conflicted husband and CEO of an advertising agency. Bill. Yes. Victor Garber, Daddy Warbucks, as Bill, who cares, a successful film producer who rose to fame through Elise's connection and eventually left her in favor of a younger Starlight. So, basically, we have the main three ladies and then their husbands.
Yes, and Shelley.
And then Shelley, played by the one and only Sarah Jessica Parker. Woo! Okay, so anywho, back to what I was saying. Goldie Hawn was, Bette Midler wanted to play Elise, the role of Elise Elliott, the celebrity. I couldn't have seen it.
Would have been different.
It would have been different. And then, but that didn't work out. And then obviously Goldie Hawn got that role. Then the producers also intended for Jessica Lange, our good sis from American Horror Story, to play the role of Elise. But then they rewrote it in a more glamorous version from the book, because I don't know how she was supposed to be in the book, but they wrote Elise's part to be more glamorous.
Very more sad.
And then they gave it to Goldie Hawn instead. And then Goldie Hawn enlisted her friend Sally Field. You know Sally Field, Still Magnolias.
Sure, yeah.
Google her.
Okay.
To join the cast in the role of Annie, the timid one,
right.
But declined because she didn't have any musicality, because they sing in this movie, I guess. And then the role eventually went to Diane Keaton, who had worked on a film previously with one of the producers. Right. And then a man we have never heard of, it's not even me worth noting his name, was up for the role of Aaron, which is Annie's husband, but he dropped out because apparently he wanted to pursue some sort of music career. Okay. And then Stephen Collins, the dad from Seventh Heaven, ended up replacing him. Jon Stewart, The Daily Show. Okay. The OG host of The Daily Show, was in the film and was hired as the lover of of Goldie Hawn's character Elise. He was her lover. Okay. But all of his scenes were cut out from the film.
That's right, because they said she has a new boyfriend.
Yeah, and then at the end they say she's dating a guy in the play.
Aggravating.
Yeah, that was him. Crazy.
Dang. Hey, crazy? Mom, I'm in a movie. They cut all my scenes.
Literally. They mentioned my name though. Well, not so even. So aggravating. Yeah. Then Dan Hedaya, whoever, the guy who plays Morty, won the role of Brenda's husband over Hector Elizondo, the driver, the security guard from Princess Diaries.
Okay. I like Morty better. He's more
And then Timothy Chalamet. I know, right? That's what I want to say. Every time I see it, I say Timothy
Chalamet.
Timothy Olympian. Maybe made his screen debut as director Brett Artina, the guy at the beginning, who's we make her grotesque. Okay, he was.
Oh yeah.
This was his first movie he was ever in.
Right.
The guy who was on that show with Drew Barrymore that was on Netflix, Santa Clarita's Diet. This was the first movie he was ever in.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's got a solid face.
Yeah, really handsome guy. TV Land. TV Land.
Oh, TV Land.
Was trying to do a reboot of The First Wives Club starring Allison horrible at last names. Hannigan from How I Met Your Mother, the redhead chick. Also Meg Hitley, never heard of her. She's from Smash, whatever. And then Vanessa Lachey. I don't know why it says Lachey. What's Vanessa? Freaking Nick Lachey. Vanessa Lachey, chick from the host of Love is Blind.
Oh yeah.
So these three women, the chick from the redhead from How I Met Your Mother, some lady I've never heard of, and then the host from Love is Blind. They were gonna do some reboot for the First Wives Club that was gonna be on TV Land. The premise was gonna be a little bit different. They were still gonna be from college, have a friend that committed suicide, but it was gonna be set in San Francisco, and they were gonna be San Francisco professionals rather than Manhattan socialites. But it fell through. And then also, I would like to point out, in this movie, all of these ladies, Bette Midler, Diane Keaton, and Goldie Hawn, they are 50 when this movie is being filmed. For this reboot, the ladies were all like 35.
Right, I was about to say they were very young.
I was like, they're like teeny boppers.
That's like not the point.
I was like, that is not the point.
The point of the movie is for you to be very like old, not very old, but older, and then your husband
to where the point where you get divorced, you're not getting remarried again because you're an old spinster.
Exactly.
Not at 35 when you can literally still have 100 babies.
Right. It's like you gave them everything.
But whatever they're trying to do, it fell apart. But there actually is, a First Wives Club TV show that airs on BET Plus, starring Jill Scott, Michelle Butte, I don't know. It's like French. Bouty, I don't know. And Ryan Michelle Bath, I think that's her name.
And same premise, or?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. There wasn't really much on it. I know it's based in New York.
Okay.
So yeah.
I can tell you that. They didn't do the whole San Francisco zhizh. Okay. So we're ready?
We're ready, baby.
Let's
how far have
girl, we're an hour in.
That's crazy. God bless you.
I know.
In the editing room.
Haha.
My heart goes out to the editors who have to edit this episode. Oh my God. It's going to be a field day in that editing room, man.
It sure is. Hopefully I start tonight. Usually I don't because I hate myself. But okay, let's dive in. Oh, I'm about to dive in. We don't support Tory Lanez. No,
Trey
Songz.
Songz. Okay. We do not support abusers. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. There was more I wanted to say, but
I
couldn't
was
think
like,
of
I
what
don't know where I'm going with this. Okay.
That's all.
So the movie begins with four friends, Annie, Brenda, Elise, and Cynthia, in 1969, hanging out in their dorm rooms as they celebrate graduating from Middlebury College.
It's a real college, apparently.
Oh, cool, nice.
Liberal arts school in Vermont.
Ooh, okay. So during a celebratory toast, Cynthia has them promise to always be there for each other and takes a group photo.
And then she also gifts them with each of them with pearl necklaces. Mm-hmm. And then you can see like all of their personalities. Like Cynthia, like they say she's the valedictorian of the entire class.
Mm-hmm. Most likely.
We see Elise, she's looking at herself in the mirror, so she's very full of herself. Annie's like kissing up to everybody. Oh my God, Elise, you're so pretty. Cynthia, you're so smart. And then Brenda's like, cracking jokes.
Right.
So we see their little personalities come out.
I love how they use their actual voices.
Isn't that very interesting? Yeah.
For the
they have younger actresses play them, but they use
the real
actresses' voices and like a voiceover. It's very interesting.
Very interesting. It works.
Never seen it done before. Right. Quite like that.
Right. Usually they don't care that much.
Right. Usually they'll just let them talk.
Right.
The regular actresses talk, but no.
So in present day,
I must say, I must say, whoever plays young Elise Elliott looks exactly like Goldie Hawn.
You think?
Oh my God! I was like, "Is that not Goldie Hawn?"
Is that her? Maybe it's her daughter.
It looks just like her. That's not.
It's not her daughter. Right. We know her daughter is. Maybe it's her other daughter. So in present day, we see that the four women have lost touch. I just want to point out, how did they do that? I would never lose touch with my four best friends from college.
I'm sure it's very easy, especially in the 60s.
They all live in New York City.
That's true.
They all live in the same city.
I was just like,
they didn't even like split
that's
up.
So true. I was like, my argument was literally about to be they move across the country from each other. They literally all live in New York.
And they should be in
But New York is still big.
I know, but some of them should be in the same social standings, I would think, or like.
Yeah, like Elise and like Cynthia should probably still be in the same circle. Oh, I would like to point out that Cynthia is played by
the lady from Grease, right?
Yes. Cynthia Swan Griffin is played by Stockard Channing. Stockard? The chick from Rizzo from Grease.
I would have really liked, I know her character is supposed to die, but I would really like to see how she would have interacted with these women.
Yeah, I would love to seen her as like a combination in the group, in the circle. Me too.
R.I.P. But okay, so we see Cynthia in present day looking at...
She's in her New York penthouse.
A New York penthouse and like a gown. She's clearly going through it.
Oh my gosh, she's like drinking and she's like moving all weird.
Yeah, she's wearing like a silk dress with like with a robe on top of it.
She's like all shaky. She's Yeah, she's going through it.
So she's looking like a photo booth, and one of the photos is the pictures from the girls from 1969.
Photo album.
Oh yeah, photo album. Then she also looks at tabloids that show that her ex-husband has remarried some much younger, more attractive woman, making her even more angry.
Played by...
Oh, you know her name.
She's somebody famous. Heather Locklear.
Okay, yes.
Her husband left her for a young Heather Locklear.
Yes, the nerve of him. So Cynthia's going through it. Her cleaning lady comes in to check on her. She gives some of her jewelry to the cleaning lady.
The pearl necklace that she gave to the girls on their graduation.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yes.
And she tells the girl, she tells her to, go home for the day. Thank you. And she also says, hey, I have some letters for you. Can you deliver them for me on your way out or whatever?
So she makes her way to her terrace in her penthouse.
In her fur coat.
Yeah, she puts on like a fur coat. She really looks like she's smoking a cigarette. Yes. She looks great. She embodies everything that she's like going through. Yeah. She looks like the drunk housewife on, some sort of housewife drug who's smoking a cigarette about like contemplating their life. Like what she's going through, she's portraying it perfectly.
It's what she's giving is what she's giving.
Is what she's giving. So she steps out on the ledge, she's smoking a cigarette. And she takes like one last gulp of her drink and she flicks her cigarette off the terrace, and we don't see it, but cut to the next scene. It's led to believe that she jumped.
Yes. So cut to, we see Annie in present day. She's just gotten home from a night out.
Played by Diane Keaton.
Thank you. She's just got home from a night away with her husband, whom she is separated from. And
Aaron.
And she walks into the kitchen to find her daughter, Chris, is like looking at her judgmentally, and she's like, where were you last night? And she's like, I was just out hanging out with your father.
She was like, you were with that man again. And then she was like, sweetheart, that man is your father. And she's like, Chris is like, he's using you. He doesn't like you. You're a doormat. And she's stop it.
They don't really talk about it much. I kind of feel like maybe he was using her for like advertising advice.
Yeah, their relationship is the one that I get the least.
Yeah,
because it's what's the disconnect here?
Yeah, I don't know how they met. Like, did they used to work in advertising together?
I must say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but he is significantly more attractive than she is.
I think he likes her because she's a doormat.
Maybe so.
And I feel like she must have. I feel like there's some cutout scenes that we didn't see, but I feel like she had to like help him with his career in advertising.
Probably so.
That's what I'm assuming.
Actually, I feel like she didn't. I feel like what I get from her is like she literally was like the stay-at-home wife. She tended to the kids, kept the household in order while he was like building the business.
But maybe he was like, I'm building the business, but like she was always back there being like, you should do this, like
maybe.
But like, I don't know. He started asking her for advice, and I kind of believe that he was. She
really doesn't seem like she has the brains to do anything.
But anywho, so Chris is unhappy to hear that she was spending the night with her father.
Because for whatever reason, she hates her daddy.
Yes.
And I really want to know the backstory to that.
Because she's probably seen him treat her terribly. She's a lesbian. She tells her mom she's a lesbian.
Feminist, and she knows.
Right.
She knows a bad man when she sees him.
Exactly.
The lesbians have the eye.
They do. And yeah, she calls her mom a doormat. She reveals to her mom she's a lesbian. And then we get cut to Elise, who's at her plastic...
Elise Elliott, played by Goldie Hawn.
Who's at her plastic surgeon's office.
She's like, fill me up, shoot me up, only you can do it right. Put collagen in my face.
Right.
Put
in my
fillers
lips.
into my butt. I want it all. I want to look young. I want to look like I'm 16. And he's like, sweetheart, you're like 45. He's like, I can't.
Let it go.
He's like, let it go. And she is like not accepting the idea that youth is fleeting, and she really just ain't got it no more.
Right. And also her career is fleeting too. So
yes,
it's just
her career is fleeting. Her youth is fleeting. And she's kind of like, her plastic surgeon is trying to have a heart-to-heart with her. Yeah. And he's like, look, I know you're going through this divorce and like your career is not really where it used to be. And she's like, it's not about my divorce or my career. I want to look young. Make me look young.
Like, sure. And also he's like, okay, you know what really help to make you look young? If you stop drinking so much and you stop smoking.
Oh yeah, she's a huge alcoholic.
Yeah. For someone, I know her character is supposed to be like an alcoholic and a smoker. She looks amazing for someone who partakes such devices.
She's a gorgeous lady.
Yes. But in the end, she convinces her doctor to put more, filler or collagen. We call it filler. I don't know what collagen. I've never heard people put collagen in your face, but he puts filler in her lips to make them a little bigger.
Just to make them a little more plump.
And then we meet Brenda, who is, we learn that is struggling financially after divorcing her husband, Morty. I don't know. She's like talking to her son in the scene. Is that what she's doing?
I literally don't know.
Yeah, Brenda's story is very... They don't give... I like Brenda.
I don't even remember seeing her.
Okay. But soon after we're reintroduced to all the girls, they each individually learn about their old friend's death, Cynthia. So the next day, all the girls arrive to Cynthia's funeral, and they kind of like see each other enter. They're like, oh my God, friends.
Also, throughout this movie, Annie is narrating.
Yes, Annie is the narrator because she's that girl. She's going to tell you the play-by-play. She probably wrote this in her diary.
Yeah. So at the funeral, we see, first we see Elise arrive with...
what's her name?
A huge socialite.
Brona. I wrote it down. Gunella. Which is like she's like the it girl of the Upper East Side or whatever you say. It's Gunella.
Garson Gilbert.
Yeah, so Elise walks in with this.
Who is a New York socialite. Yeah. Yes. So Elise, and she's anybody knows Gunella.
Yes.
You want to be in New York City, you got to go through Gunella first. So Elise walks in with her.
Yes.
They're like besties. Love that for her.
And then Annie's there by herself, I think, and then Brenda's there with her employer, who is
which I never made the connection.
Right, because it seems like
that he was. It seems like he works for her.
Yeah,
but she works for him. So she goes in with her boss.
Dorado.
What is his name? Yeah, it's
Dorado.
it's so weird to pronounce. Dorado Felice.
Yes, apparently he's like the top 10 worst interior designers in New York.
Yes. One of the worst.
And who also arrives is Cynthia's ex-husband with his new girl. The nerve of him. He sits front row, and he spends the freaking time fondling her boobies.
Nipples!
Her little titties.
Literally, while his ex-wife is sitting in a casket dead after her suicide because of him.
Yes.
He's fondling
her boobies.
His new wife's tit.
Front row in the church.
At the funeral.
In the church.
At the funeral.
At the funeral in the church.
Yeah. So everyone's here and accounted for.
Yes.
Everyone's in the room. Brenda, before the funeral starts, tries to say hello to Elise. Elise, being Elise, the Oscar award winning actress that she is like, who the hell are you?
She was giving that girl what that girl gave you. Who?
She literally gave me exactly. I'm literally Brenda.
You're like,
I'm like, hey girl, how are you? And she's like, huh? Do I know you? Literally.
Like, girl, we're best friends. You're drunk. What's your drunk ass?
What's your drunk behind?
But, so after the funeral, the girls meet up with each other. So
and yeah, Annie goes up. The funeral's over. Annie goes up to Elise. And Annie's like, Elise! And Annie is like, so good to see you. And Elise is like, Allison? And she's like, no, it's Annie. And she's like, right, Annie. Then Brenda walks up, and then it's like a mini reunion. And
they're
then
all
wearing
the pearls.
Yes, they all are wearing the pearls that Cynthia got them when they graduated from college, and then they all agree to go get lunch together.
Love. So at lunch, they basically start sharing their, marital problems. Elise, they're like, I wonder what happened to Cynthia. And Elise, like, spot on explains it.
She probably gave Gil the best years of her life. Sacrificed her youth, always put herself last in order to bolster his ego, his drive, his ambition. And just as her dignity was hanging on by a thread, he just lopped it off by running off with some preschooler.
And then Brenda's like, obviously this is what's happening to you as well.
Right.
And then Brenda tells her story about her Morty, who was going through a midlife crisis and started working out and dressing different, changed his look, and then he found a young girl.
Played by Sarah Jessica Parker.
She's 12. That's what I get that from. Every time I don't like someone who's like 2 years younger than me, I'm like, she's 12.
I've never heard you really say
what? Mom says it now.
Does she?
Yeah, she's like, she's 12.
Wow,
oh my God.
It.
I get
Maybe
it.
it's just so subtle of a comment. I really don't know.
She's 12. And I get it from this
12.
movie.
Interesting.
I love when I watched it. I was like, oh, "That's where I get it from." I'm not.
You didn't know where you got it from?
No, hell no.
You
I
just thought you invented it.
I just didn't know why I chose that age.
Oh.
It's like she's 12. It's not. I'm not saying she's 10. It's like she's 12. It's a great age. But
just right before those teenage years.
Yeah, right. She's 12. And then Annie's like, "Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry for what you all going through. I could never understand. Y'all are pathetic." And then she's like, starts like slowly talking about her life, and then she's like, "Well, you know, my life is perfect. My daughter's a lesbian now, and me and my husband, we're going through it, but we still love each other. He's amazing. We are separated." And then
I'm like, okay, girl, you think you're hot-ish, you're no better than us. So they all kind of realize that they're all going through it. Elise is going through something because her husband, Bill, is leaving her for a young starlight.
Phoebe.
Morty has left her, Brenda, because he's in a midlife crisis, and he left her for the secretary.
Sheila.
And then now Annie's revealing that her and Aaron are separated.
right. She's at the beginning of she doesn't know yet, but he left her for another woman. But she's in the beginning phases of this.
Right.
So the next day, Annie meets with her therapist, whom she sees because she has low self-esteem, and
Who her husband
also sees.
is also seeing, which in the realm of therapy practices is a conflict of interest. You can't do that. I literally know that's against the law of therapy. Like, that is not, that's in the rule book.
Factually, or
It has to be.
I was like,
It has to be.
It should be, because it's like, if y'all not,
That's literally
the only time y'all should be seeing the same therapist is if y'all doing group therapy.
if y'all are doing couples therapy.
Yeah.
There is no way that y'all should be seeing the same therapist.
No, it's weird.
It's not, unless y'all are going together.
Yeah, your therapist should have been like, "Yeah, I can't do this."
Yes.
Or like y'all decide to go together and then you see them separately and then y'all come back together. It's just weird to see them separately at the same time.
It's not making any sense.
Yes. So Annie's talking about the girls and Aaron, blah blah blah,
And then she's like, I was the only positive and healthy person in
so
that
proud of
room.
me.
They were all being so negative. Therapists, you would be so proud of me. I was like, oh, look at you, seeking validation.
right.
How pathetic,
Yes.
Annie.
So that scene's over, and then we see Elise is still trying to divorce her husband. So she's meeting up with her ex-husband to discuss their divorce terms. Her ex-husband claims he played a great part in making her career. Therefore, he believes that he should own half of her assets. So he wants her to get all the assets that that she has or that they share, and then sell them and then split that profit with him. And he also wants alimony.
Period.
That is, to me, trifling.
Wait, he wanted all that? I just thought he wanted alimony.
He wanted alimony, and he wanted her to sell their assets and then
He
split
wanted
it.
them to sell the assets, or he wanted to split the assets?
No, he wanted her to get their assets, sell them, and then split the
it.
cost.
Oh.
So now she got to do all the work.
That's crazy.
That's very crazy.
Where
Crazy
was
town.
the prenup?
And freaking alimony. I would never
Can
want
you
to
imagine?
pay him. I love women who get alimony, but paying a man alimony, I'm just like.
It just doesn't sit right with me.
But also, he is.
It's unconstitutional.
It is, but also he has like a job. Like, you should be like, I didn't work. Like, I need you to keep up this lifestyle because I gave up my career for you or something, blah blah. But he is doing
like you
great.
literally have a job.
Yes, that she built for him.
Right.
Huh?
So after she's had her meeting with her lawyers and her trash soon-to-be ex-husband, Elise now is meeting with this like hot young new film director who's on the scene, and he has a role for her in mind, and he really wants her to play it, and she really wants the role in the film. But the roles in the film that they think that she will play are two different roles. She thinks she's going to be playing this young main character named Monique, while the director wants her to play Monique's mother, who's like old and decrepit and angry and bitter and nasty, grotesque.
Yes, he
and all of the things.
Literally everything she doesn't want to hear that she's been running away from.
Everything that she's running away from, he wants her to play. So she's sitting down with this new hot director, and he's like, Elise Elliott in my film, like, this will be such a game changer. Like, I'm so honored to be sitting with you. And then she's like, oh my goodness, yes, I can't wait to be in your film. And she's like, well, how do you want me to play the role? And he was like, well, we make it grotesque, like completely horrendous. And she's like, excuse me?
He said no makeup.
He's like, yeah, you'll play Monique's mother. This whole time she's thinking she's going to be playing the main character, Monique. And he's like, no makeup, no lighting. You maybe gain 30 pounds. Like, take out your collagen in your face. Like, all of that.
Why she ever thought she was going to play anyone's mother. Most of these women in Hollywood, they have to start playing mothers at 30.
Literally, you start playing.
At least.
Literally, once you hit 30 in Hollywood, your shelf life is over. And all you are considered is an old maiden.
Right.
Why you thought you would play the
at 50?
At 50?
Elise. You should have been started playing someone's mother.
46 at generous. 46. You really thought she was going to play the main character, the youthful teenager?
You lucky they didn't put you as the grandmother.
You're
really lucky you're not playing someone's grandmother.
You're honestly lucky. Not by our standards, though.
Right.
Hollywood. This isn't our standards, folks.
Yes.
Hollywood standards.
Yes.
I would let her play Monique all day.
But honestly, she should be playing someone's mother.
Even let her play the toddler in my world.
Give her what she wants.
Give her what she wants.
So, after this meeting, Elise spends the night drunk at a bar crying to the bartender about the whole thing. I just really want to paint the picture that she is an alcoholic.
She's drunk.
She's drunk.
What a fun one.
A fun one. She's
I
nice.
think.
She's no Dorinda. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
angry
a drunk.
But anywho, so now we see Brenda. She's out shopping with her employer. What's it? Dorado.
Sure.
Dorado.
The worst, top 10 worst interior decorators in all of New York City.
Why are they hanging out together? I don't know. It really does look like he works for her.
It looks like they're friends. Like, it just looks like they're best. I don't even think I knew they worked together.
Yeah.
I thought they were literally just
Friends, right. That's what it's giving.
So, yeah, they're at, like, the mall, and he's like, you need to buy this, you need to wear this. And she's like, I can't wear this, I can't fit it, I can't afford it. And he's like, so your son, who cares? Just put it on.
So they're having this conversation, and then she turns, looks to her right, boom, Morty, her ex-husband. She don't care where she at, she's on that ass. Morty, I can't pay my bills. I can't, where's the money, Morty?
I can't pay our son's tuition.
This is
because
embarrassing.
you're not running the checks. I can't put food on the table because you're too worried about your business and your little dime piece girlfriend. What about me, Morty? Where's the money? Where's the cash?
The nerve of him. So Morty owns multiple electronic stores, and then he's telling her, "I don't have any money. It's all tied up.
He's like, it's all tied up in the business. The business is expanding, not me, Brenda."
The nerve of him. And then Shelly walks out with dresses that she's like, what she call him? It's not Morty. She calls him Morton. I just need them all, sir. So you have, sir.
You're literally pitching to your ex-wife, like, "Oh, I can't afford
you have to
pay your rent, to pay our son's tuition, to pay for his bar mitzvah, but I'm too busy because I'm too busy paying for my mistress's lifestyle."
Crazy? Now, if you're gonna leave your wife and your son for some young girl, fine, but at least pay the bills, sir.
At least pay the bills.
At least pay the bills.
You have it. So in walks Sarah Jessica Parker, played by Shelly. Mm-hmm. She is Morty's young girlfriend.
Boo.
Morty, that's his young girlfriend. Shelly and Brenda, they lock eyes. Shelly's like, Morty, get her away from me. She is disgusted at the sight of her, and they have a brief exchange, and Morty's like, "It was good seeing you, Brenda, but I gotta go take care of my main girl."
Mm-hmm. And then Shelly insults Brenda.
She calls her fat.
Yeah, she's
basically.
Like, "What you get something in your size?
Your own size." Could
you imagine? Not only did you steal my man and my life and my money, now you're gonna make fun of my weight. I will kill you. I will murder you. And unfortunately, Brenda suffers with her weight. She's not even that big of a girl. She suffers with weight issues. Not big at all. Yeah, and that's it's a trigger for her. Yeah. She goes home. On her refrigerator is these obese people, pictures of them. I guess to deter her from eating.
Oh, I did not see that.
She really has a problem with her weight. Yeah, she's like.
Oh wow! I didn't see that.
So
she's not big at all.
Yeah, she's really not that big. So she was,
not. Saying she's not that big makes it sound like she's slightly big. She's literally a regular size.
Yeah, she's a regular size woman. She is. So yeah, it was very rude.
She's just not tall.
Amen. Yeah, she really isn't bad. And then that night after all this, Brenda goes out to a restaurant and eats by herself. And I think that's a big step for herself.
I don't remember that part at all.
Remember that she sits down. Everyone's like, "Is she eating by herself?" And the waiter comes up and he's like,
Uno? She's like, yeah. He takes all the plates like it's like they made it such a big deal that she's eating by herself.
No, I don't remember it.
Yeah, well, it's a big stuff for her. And
clearly, I wasn't paying attention that deep.
Yes, so you move, and we're keeping it moving. So also that night, while cooking with her mother, Annie gets a call from A.A. Ron, as some would say. He asks her out to dinner.
Oh, that's funny.
And she excitedly accepts because, she wants to get back with him. Her mom is also...
She has no self-esteem.
Yeah. Her mom's also happy because she also wants her daughter to get back with A.A. Ron.
Her mom is not a...
she's not helping the situation.
Yeah, her mom is not positive.
Yeah, her mom... she has a problem. Annie has a problem with, sticking up for herself, and one of them is also her mom. Like, her mom could help the situation, but she's not.
She gets a call from Aaron. She's all excited. She's like, oh my goodness, that means he's like really focusing in on therapy if he wants to get dinner, and he's, getting rid of his like intimacy issues and his fear of me poisoning him.
Random.
He really wants to like...
I'm going to look more into that statement.
That's really weird. And he really wants to focus on a relationship, and I'm really excited.
That makes me think he's been cheating on her. When he's like, I have a fear of you poisoning me. I'm like, why do I need to poison you?
This is so peculiar.
Like, is he cheating? He must have been cheating on her.
How long have you had those glasses?
3, 4, or 5 months. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Awkward. I've had this face for a while.
So, she goes to meet him. They have dinner.
They dance.
They dance the night away.
She walks in there. They lock eyes.
It looks very romantic.
And he takes her on the dance floor. They sway and they
like
dance.
They look really into each other.
He is a douchebag.
That is scary.
I can't believe what happens next.
Men are scary. So then they go to some hotel.
This must be where he lives. He stays.
Oh, maybe.
Actually, I don't even know what's a hotel.
It looks like a hotel to me.
Because you remember the therapist walks in. It looks pretty big. I wonder if maybe
it looks like a suite.
Yeah. He must be staying at this hotel. Right.
So they dance the night away. They have a very romantic evening.
Yes. They
bring it back to his hotel, his place. They make love, as a married couple would do, after such a romantic night out. Right.
And he's excited.
She's all excited. She's all happy. They're in their robes. He's kissing on her, and then he kisses her, and he's like, I want a divorce.
No. You gotta... She's like, I can't wait for you to move back in. I'm so excited. Like, she's like thinking like...
She's thinking long term.
He tells her, I love you.
Oh, right.
Then he stands up, holds her.
It's like,
I want a divorce.
I want a divorce. She's like, but we just made love! But we just made love!
I love how she like yells. She's like all timid, but like her theme throughout this movie is like yelling.
Hysterically.
Yes.
Hysterically. So she begins yelling hysterically.
Obviously. And he starts to gaslight her.
And he's like, Annie, don't do this to me. You know how you make me emotional. And she's like, what? And he's like, I just don't think this is working out.
But we just made love.
You
just said, he was like, you look so, when I saw you, he was saying that he called this date to break up with her, but she looked so good that he just couldn't stop himself. Mind you, he's dating someone else.
And he's like, don't do this. You know how you manipulate me.
Yes.
How she manipulates him. What? Then what happened next, Jordan, huh?
And then she, at this point,
there's more icing to the cake.
I think he was using words that sounded very therapy. She's like, I've heard these words before. Boom, bop, bam. Both of them. Therapist walks through the door. And she's like, did I interrupt something? He's like, no, or I was just about to da-da-da-da.
And then she's like, what is she doing here? And the therapist is like, Annie? She's like using that like therapist tone. And she's like, what are you doing here? Then he reveals to his wife that he is in fact dating his therapist, but also her therapist.
Now
her therapist is dating her husband.
Now that should be illegal. That you should lose your license. That is not okay.
I would have murdered her.
Severely unprofessional.
She's literally in therapy telling this woman about this man. And she is dating him. She is sleeping with him.
And then Annie's thinking like he's doing better because he's seeing this therapist.
Like, what?
She should be disbarred.
How does that? Yes, that is the foulest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I would have brought her down to her knees.
My therapist is dating my husband.
That's so bad. And then while Annie's screaming,
I would have told all the therapists in all the land.
Oh yeah, I would have sued
all
her.
The clients and all the world.
I feel like that's a good lawsuit.
Something.
It's got to be something.
Because that patient confidentiality has been breached.
It's not ethical.
Unethical beyond belief.
And then while Annie's freaking out, she's got the nerve to be like, she can have her own feelings. She could be upset.
Right.
Ma'am, where was this thought? They're engaged. They're getting married.
Electric chair.
Where was this thought months ago?
Electric chair.
They've only been separated for like 6 months.
Off with their heads.
And they've only been separated for 6 months.
That's crazy.
And then they're engaged.
Foul.
Disgusting.
Men are literally the worst. That is scary. How a human being could operate.
Your therapist.
Like
Somebody you're supposed to trust. You tell your deepest, darkest secrets to your therapist. Your deepest.
Right.
We must move on. So in the next scene, we see the women after going through their different.
R.I.P. to Annie's mental health.
Yes.
Sorry. Continue.
We see the girls finally receiving the notes that Cynthia mailed to them before her death, in which she describes her loneliness for their friendship.
Can we read them?
Oh, do you know it? Okay.
No.
The
letters read. Okay. Well, at least Annie's read. This is the one that Annie. Because, Annie's the narrator, so she's kind of important. Dear Annie, I'm so sorry we didn't remain in touch over the years. But I know you'd be someone important one day. Sometimes I envy... Sorry, the handwriting is piss poor. Sometimes I envy your life. What I read seems so perfect. It's funny. In college, I dreamed of making a difference, of helping others. But now, it's as if I never existed. I wish I had talent like Elise, or Brenda's humor, or your strength, Annie. Aww. Most of all, I wish we still had our friendship. Yeah. Perhaps Gil isn't the problem. Perhaps loneliness is. Please take care of each other.
Love that.
Love, Cynthia.
So Gil was Cynthia's ex-husband.
Yes.
But yeah, that's sweet. Love. So they all received these letters.
Annie's strength, be for real.
She survived a lot. She puts up with a lot.
Because she's a doormat. Because she has no self-esteem.
Leave her alone. Anywho. So they all.
The girl's therapist was sleeping with her husband right under her nose, and she never even realized.
Wait, we're victim blaming.
You're right. That's not what I'm doing. I'm so sorry, Annie. So sorry.
They were also separated.
I'm on your side here.
She was separated. How was she supposed to know this?
You're right. You're right.
And you trust your therapist.
You're right.
Okay. Anywho,
I just had a moment of deja vu.
Deja vu. What?
This.
Okay. Oh. Okay, anyway, so they all received the note that Cynthia sent, and then the girls come together at Lee's place, to discuss their lives and everything that's going wrong, especially what's going wrong with their ex-husbands and the problems they are causing them. So at this point, they decide that they want to get even with their ex-husbands.
All right. Let's get serious. We help them rise. We can help them fall.
Oh, but I don't know how we're going to do that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, she's right. We're has-beens. We're hanging on by a thread. We're just discards.
We're not hanging on by a thread and we're discards. Look at us by being together. Us. Unity. I mean, if all the first wives of the world got together, what else do we need? Just one amazing attorney. No. All we need is us. 3 women who aren't afraid to fight, to stand up for our dignity, for our self-esteem. And then we'll let him have it.
And then they form the First Wives Club in order to obtain revenge or restitution from their husbands, and they plan to each get information on their husbands so they can use against them and to ruin
make themselves feel better.
Yes, hallelujah.
For the loss of their friend, for the loss of their youth, for the loss of their happiness,
for women everywhere,
the loss of their marriage, for women everywhere.
Hallelujah.
They are plotting their revenge.
Exactly. So Annie starts by recruiting her daughter Chris to spy on her husband. And Aaron's
the worst of the
Aaron.
He really is. Out of the 3,
I feel like we need to. I want to talk about the whole thing because I feel like my mind changes all the time. So
who's the worst out of the 3
Yes.
husbands? It's Aaron. God. That manipulation is just crazy.
Yeah, I didn't like how he came at that point where he was like, "You manipulate me."
He was like, "You know how you manipulate me." Are you for real?
Yeah,
right
he's
now?
up with the therapist. Yeah, he might be the worst one. You're right.
He's the worst.
So Annie decides to ask her daughter Chris to do this whole thing by going to the gay bar that Chris is at. So the girls walk in, they find Chris, and Annie basically tells her their plan, and Chris is on board because she hates men. She hates her father.
Including her father.
And she also wants to chase down all these men. She's totally in. And then we see Chris going to her dad's office at the advertising firm asking for a job. I'm assuming it's like a secretary job.
Yeah.
And he happily agrees to give,
his
a job to his daughter.
Nepotism.
Exactly.
And then so Elise, then we see Elise go to Bill's office, which is her ex-husband, along with some movers to collect all the antiques and all the, fine items that she has bought for him to begin liquidation of their assets like he requested.
Yeah.
So she's just like plucking things off the wall. She's like, that Van Gogh can go.
Right.
This Picasso is mine. Get this off the wall. And he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm doing what you ask. I'm liquidating all of our assets so we can split the money.
Now, what she does throughout this whole movie, I'm like, is this legal? Like,
yeah, I don't know how she got away with it.
I don't know how she got away with it. But, I mean, technically speaking, I guess she bought that stuff. So I feel like he should have done the fine print on like what he wanted her to take. Like
but what else would you expect? Like if you're literally requesting in court that we sell all of our assets that we have together. Okay, she's gonna go. Yeah, she's gonna take this and that and sell it. Like literally.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for, sweetheart. You should have just asked for the alimony.
Yes. These are very she takes his desk.
What you thought she was gonna take her house and sell it and split it down the middle with you?
I don't think so.
She literally goes in there, takes his computer, his desk, his shoes off
she goes, the chair the lady's sitting in, take that.
Take that. I want all of it.
Everything.
So Bill is pissed, but that's what he asked for.
That's what we asked for.
And then so next we see Brenda and Annie attending Brenda's son's bar mitzvah. And of course his new girlfriend, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, Shelley, is there, as well as Morty. And then after the function, why do I keep saying Brinny? I know. Brenda and Annie learn from Brenda's mafia-connected uncle that Morty got his start in the electronics business because he used stolen goods from the help of Brenda's father and his uncle.
Yes.
Uncle Carmine.
At first I was like...
So Brenda has, ties to the Italian mob.
First I was confused. I was like, I thought they were in the mafia, but they're Jewish? But she said it's on her dad's side, so I was very confused.
I guess her mother's Jewish and, her
her
father's
dad's
classic. Real godfather.
From Sicilian.
Sicilian, yeah. Real godfather scenario here.
Yes. And he also offers to kill Morty, which is, I think, is very nice.
He offers to whack him.
I'll kill him for you.
So yeah, at the bar mitzvah, Brenda's like, my Morty? A crook?
Okay, so, Brenda is definitely still in love with Morty.
Yeah.
I think she wants to ruin his life, but she also,
wants him to want
The fire is like flickering.
I feel Brenda's pain every day.
Okay.
She hates him, but it's like, hey, if you want to, turn over a new leaf one day, and, change your ways, come holla at me.
I know. The rest of the girl, at least it's done with Bill. Annie
definitely still wants Aaron,
but in a different way.
But only because she's pathetic and sad, and she doesn't have, a backbone.
Yeah, but Brenda,
because she doesn't have any self-esteem. Brenda has the self-esteem.
But Brenda still loves Morty.
Yes. So we find out that Morty's a crook. He was stealing electronics. That's how he got his start.
His books are fraud.
Yeah.
Fake.
His books.
And we're gonna use that
the
later.
Numbers, the fraud. So back to Elise, who is still on her, her tirade of taking Bill's assets, which is her assets, to liquidate. She shows up at his apartment where she meets Bill's young, attractive new girlfriend, Phoebe, played by the chick from Saved by the Bell.
Yes. She did a really good job in this.
I didn't like her mouth in this movie. Her mouth looks
I think
weird.
it worked. Like her being annoying and me I liked it.
No, something about her mouth looks gummy, and it didn't look gummy on Saved by the Bell.
No, she was also in another movie reviewed.
Played by Elizabeth Berkley, who plays Jessie on Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
So,
she's the girlfriend.
Yes. Elise walks in. She meets the girlfriend, played by, so and so. And she's all the girlfriend. The young girlfriend is super excited to see Elise.
God.
She's fangirling. She's like, "Oh my God, Elise Elliott! I'm such a huge fan of yours." Meanwhile, Bill is like, "Why are you in here?" Meanwhile, Elise is on a mission to collect all of the items. She's taking this antique. She's taking this painting. She's taking this sofa. And meanwhile, the girl's still following behind her. And she's like, "Oh my God, Elise, I have to tell you about this new movie I'm in. And I think you would be perfect for the role playing opposite me." And then she's like, "Okay, stop talking to me." But the girl keeps on going on. And she's like, "The film that I am in, I'm playing Monique. And I think you should play the mother." So this is the same film that Elise at the beginning of the movie thought that she would be playing the young actress that she is not.
I was confused. I was like, does Bill know that they're up for the same movie
role?
Did he send that? Is he messing with her?
Maybe before they really separated and got divorced, Elise was up for the role and he played a role in that. And then once they kind of had the falling out and he met the young hot girl, he was like, "Oh, my young girlfriend would actually be better." Or something.
Yeah, I feel like that was a deleted scene that would explain that more. And get it.
So Elise finds out that Bill's hot young girlfriend is up for the role that Elise wanted.
Great.
And she is pissed, and there is egg on her face.
Pissed off. So after this day of full activities, the girls reconvene at Elise's place.
Full of revenge.
Yes. And they're basically like, we need an office space for our club, First Wives Club. I don't know why they decide they need office space. But luckily, Elise, being the rich woman that she is, she's like, "Oh, I own a building downtown. It's currently vacant." And they're like, this works perfectly for them. This is going to be their headquarters. Also, while they're at the apartment, they talk about how they want Elise to do this play. But Elise doesn't want to do it because the role is for this bitter woman who's a drunk and just divorced. And that's you. And then she's like,
"That's literally you."
They're like, "No."
And she's like, "Oh, that is not me." And she's like, "I don't do theater. Bill always said it was bad for my career." And I agree with him on that. Right. And they're like, "You should do it. Reconsider."
Yes. They're like, the script is so good. And then here at the apartment, Elise also comes up with the idea, a way to get Morty's financial information to prove that he's been committing fraud is that since Shelly and Morty have a new apartment together, they can use Brenda's employee, Dorado.
So it's just we're working, the wheels are turning.
Yes, the wheels are turning.
The wheels are turning. So Shelly and Morty, they got this new penthouse apartment. Fancy. It needs to be decorated. Brenda works for the worst interior designer in New York. So they will get him, Brenda's employee, to decorate the apartment. But first, how will they get Shelly to enlist Brenda's employer to decorate the apartment? The help of Gunella will tell Shelly, "Hey, I'm the rich socialite of New York. This is who you need to get to decorate your apartment."
And she's also a member of the First Wives Club.
Yes. So when they ask Gunella to help, of course, she is more than willing because she has, of course, in her life, been a first wife, a second wife, a third, and a fourth. So Gunella gets calls Shelly up and is like, "Hey, it's me, Gunella. I want you to have lunch with me." And Shelly's like fangirling, "Oh my God, Gunella, the socialite of New York, just invited me to have lunch at her home." So Shelly goes. Gunella is putting on, a face to make it seem like she's really interested in getting to know Shelly, but real life she's disgusted by her because Shelly is very so
she's not high class
she's not high class at all. So then Gunella tells her they're talking and Gunella's like, "Oh, I hear you have a new apartment. It needs to be decorated. This is someone who should decorate it." What's his name? Gustavo?
Durella.
No, that's not it.
Dorato.
Gutav.
No, it's Dorato.
Dorado?
D.
Dorato. Sure. Gunella says, "Dorado Feliz. He's the best interior decorator in New York. You have to get him to decorate your apartment. If you do, you'll be on the cover of all the magazines. Agricultural Digest, Home Goods, Home Gardens."
She say that?
All I think she does say Agricultural Digest or something. So, of course, Shelly, she calls him up. we've got the appointment. And that's how we will get into the penthouse to see that Morty has committed fraud and that his books are fake.
Love it. So now we see Dorado. He's at Shelly and Morty's place, ready to do his, interior design, decorating thing.
Meanwhile, the girls are waiting somewhere in the wing.
And he tells them that he needs
1 hour
to, get the vibe of the place. He's really artsy. They need to leave so he can really get into it. So
Morty and Shelly make their exit.
And then the girls come in. And then they're like looking around. Poor Brenda's like seeing the place and she's like distraught.
I'm very confused. I'll talk about it later.
Oh.
But so Brenda, she's seeing the penthouse that he has bought Shelly, where he doesn't even want to pay for his own kid's bar mitzvah. She's looking at this penthouse that's elaborate and expensive, and she's just like in awe. And they're like, Brenda, the girls are like, Brenda, we gotta focus. They go upstairs to the office. They're searching around. Annie's on the computer doing her thing. Elise is like looking through some cabinets, and then Brenda is seeing first of all, Shelly. Morty don't even live there. This penthouse is just for Shelly. Morty not living up in there.
Yes, he is.
No.
Where is he living?
He might come stay the night every now and then, but did you see that bedroom? It was like
he has to. He's not living.
He bought it for her to stay in. He's not staying in that apartment.
Where's he staying? He got money for another place?
Apparently, that's what I was trying to say. I don't understand. He just looks like he sells, he looks like he's the owner of a used electronics store. He should not have all this money.
Oh yeah.
Does he own Best Buy? I'm confused because it just looks like he owns maybe one or two low budget, low end electronic stores. But by the way, the spending that she does, it looks like he owns Geek Squad.
Yeah. Well,
Apple.
He wasn't paying for his product. So profit.
I guess.
And he bought all that stuff with it. And I'm sure he's doing other, fraudulent stuff. She's looking at his tax returns. It's all fake.
I guess.
And I think he owns I feel the number 10. I feel like they said 10. But I think he owns a good amount of them at this point. But to get his start, it was all profit.
'Cause Jesus.
Right. But so they find his tax returns. They get the documents that they need. Gwynella is also there. She's downstairs is watching the door to see when they come back.
She's lookout.
And unfortunately, Shelly and Morty come back earlier than an hour.
Literally after 8 minutes.
I was like, So the girls are freaking out.
So Gwynella calls them and they're on their way back up.
Yes. The girls are freaking out. Dorado is freaking out. He's like, hide. I'll distract them. Figure it out. It's because they can't leave because they're coming in at this exact moment.
While they're coming in, the girls are trying to make their exit, so they have to go hide back upstairs.
Yes, and they can't make it out the front door.
So now it's a fiasco. Morty and Shelly come in. Morty's like, how much? And then he's like, I just feel like the windows are the eyes to the soul. And he's really just trying to distract them. He's coming up and saying ridiculous things. And he's ultimately just trying to distract them so the girls can make their exit. But literally every time they're trying to make their exit, Shelly turns around or Morty has to go to the bathroom. So it's just they keep on getting stuck in the penthouse.
And they realize the only way out is they find a window. They go out on the balcony, and then the ledge, and then they see one of those window washing things.
Those things that the painters be on.
Yes, and they get on it. Very dangerous. And they climb on it.
And Brenda's the only way out is for us to get on this thing. And then Alicia's like, oh God, Brenda. She's like, oh God, Brenda, I don't know.
Right, exactly. This is stupid and dangerous.
And then Annie's screaming hysterically.
Even them getting on it was dangerous. One false step and you're plunging to your death.
Literally. And they're in a penthouse. This is a New York, Manhattan building.
Yeah.
They're at 30, 40, 50 stories above ground. But anywho, they get on the little mechanism and they don't know how to work it. They don't know how to work the little control system. And Brenda's just banging it. And then eventually the thing starts to fall. And they're just plunging.
Yes.
Story after story after story.
Fastly. But they figure out how to stop it just in time before they crashed on the ground.
Yes. Moments before it is too late, they get, they press the right button and they stop it just in time. And then Brenda was like, that was fun. Let's go again.
She's like that. She's funny. Woo!
Woo! Fun times at Rattle High.
And so they almost don't make it out, but
Yes.
they make it out unseen and unscathed.
Huzzah! So, that night the girls, spend the night chit-chatting, celebrating. I think they're at the warehouse or the little building that they claim to be headquarters, and they're hanging out and they're reminiscing about the good times with Cynthia,
The good old days.
and they bring up her 21st birthday party and how they had to sing to her as like entertainment for
it was
her.
Elise's idea.
Yes,
And
and
put
then
on a show for her.
and then that's when they sing "You Don't Own Me" for the first time.
That's the song they chose to do.
Yes,
You don't own me.
It's really the theme song of the movie.
It's really the theme song of a generation.
Yes, it's a really good song. But let's see. So the next morning, we get a call from Chris, or a message from Chris that's left on Annie's voice. Annie voice message machine. Machine.
Her phone.
Her phone. But not cell phone. Anyway, and it's basically saying like, "Hey mom, I got news for you. I think it's about time you get back into the advertising business."
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. And
Call me.
she's like, "Call me." And then she basically learns that Aaron's partners want to sell their shares of the advertising agency. And then Annie calls Elise and she's like, "I really want it, but I don't have the money." And then, I don't know, Brenda calls Elise and she's like, "Do you know we can get that kind of dough at Wink Wink?" Because Elise is a rich one.
Right.
And she has the money.
So, in order. So, Annie's husband Aaron's partners to the advertising agency are selling their shares. Annie wants to buy it, but how will she acquire the money? So what happens is Elise sells to Annie all of
those assets.
the assets that she took from Bill, so all the antiques and the paintings and whatever, she sells it to Annie for a very low price. I think $1.
$1.
She sells it to Annie. So now Annie has all these expensive things. She has Bill's Ferrari. She has his like Picasso painting.
Yes.
She has this plate from Japan that's
The
like
bench.
$1 million.
Right.
She has all these things.
Antiques.
And now she is going to auction it off
Yes.
so that she can get the money to buy Aaron's partner's shares. But how can we ensure that all of these items will be sold at the auction
The highest price available.
to the highest bidder? That is where Marty's money, Shelly, and the help of Ganilla and Gustavo. What's their name?
It's a D. Dorado.
Come in.
Yes.
So now all the parts are clicking. So now we're at the auction.
A 2-for-1 deal.
We're at the where Bill's items that Elise has sold to
three
Andy.
for one deal.
3-for-1 deal.
Because everyone's getting a little kick in the ass.
So we're at the auction. Bill's items are up for sale because Annie got them from Elise. Now Annie's selling them. Now we have Shelly in the audience at the auction. She is now going to go up against a bidding war. They're manipulating Shelly, but they don't know. Brenda's sitting in the crowd at the auction disguised as a lady with blonde hair.
Gorgeous,
She looks maybe European. I don't know. Some glasses. She looks fancy so that Shelly doesn't recognize her. And then also Denise Elliott, playing herself, is also in the crowd as a member or a potential buyer.
Right. She's
at the auction.
We want what she wants.
With Shelly is Ganilla and Gustavo,
Dorado.
the interior decorator.
Gustavo.
So we start bidding, $500,000 here, $100,000 here. Gustavo
Dorado
is in her ear as well as
you
Ganilla.
definitely need that. Yes.
And they're like, you definitely need that for sure. And then she's like, it's Japanese. And then Ganella's like, the Japanese, don't they have enough? So I don't know what that means.
But they're just trying to up the bid.
Right.
They're trying to bid on her on
Right.
anything.
They're like, oh, at least Elliot just bid on that. You have to outbid
have
her. And then they're like, this lady in the back who is really Brenda disguised, in a disguise. And they're like, oh my God, she's Euro trash. You have to buy.
Right.
You have to outbid her. So it's just like they're going against a betting war. And then basically Shelly racks up a hefty
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
hefty bill of different items and purchases.
She gets home. Morty's like, what is this? What is this? Oh, he's the dad from Clueless.
Yeah.
It's giving the same imagery.
He's the same character in everything.
It's giving like, why are you?
He's just
what,
angry and mean.
What are all these prices? I mean, this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah, $100,000 for a plate, $20,000 for a used rug, $500,000 for a Ferrari.
And
she's like, I bought the Ferrari for you.
It's a gift.
It was a gift. Okay, Morty?
And then
he's like, with my money.
But also he can't pay for anything for his son and his wife, his ex-wife.
Crazy town. And then somehow in the conversation, she puts on her charm. Shelly, she puts on her charm. Right. She puts on her sex appeal. And she's like, you know what? I bought all of these things for you, but maybe I should just leave because it's not like we're engaged anyway. So ultimately, she's searching for a ring.
And she gets out of it. He's not mad at her anymore because she's all sexy and she's also gonna get a
she's
ring.
like, can you unzip my dress? And he's like, you know what, babe? I overreacted. I'm sorry, Shelly.
Right. So next we see Brenda back at home. She's feeling brand new. We see her at home with her son. She's feeling brand new. She's wearing an outfit that she hasn't worn in like 3 years because she hasn't fit it, but now she can fit it. She's got hips. She's got legs. Who knew?
And then she's showing this off to her son.
And they're talking. She's like, let's hang out. She's talking about how she's still, even though her and Morty are going to do this divorce, they're still family and all this crap. And her son is basically spills the beans that he's felt some type of way or felt weird that Morty and Shelly are engaged. And
this is news to Brenda. Unbeknownst to her, she had no idea. And she was like, oh yeah, I can understand why that would gut you like a fish.
Right, because in the back of her mind, I feel like she still wants.
Yeah, and that's really tough to figure out that your ex-husband is engaged through your 13-year-old son.
I always wonder, I was like, so if they would have got married, like, do you go to the wedding? Do you have to send a gift?
She wouldn't have gone to
Are we a family now? Like, what happens? She
wouldn't have been invited to the wedding.
I know, but you kind of so weird.
Yeah.
So that night, they're all back at Elisa's place. Elise is getting drunk. She's upset because they haven't found anything on Bill yet.
No dirt.
They
Nothing. Found Morty's, a crook. Mm-hmm. Aaron is going to get his butt handed to him when Annie shows up to the board meeting as, partial owner of the ad agency. And then, Bill just walks away squeaky clean. But honestly, I must say, taking all of his, his toys, like his, Ferrari and his antiques. I feel like that was
to bury him.
I think that was good enough.
Because this girl don't want to pay alimony. I need a secret.
Right.
And she's also mad that she's like paying for everything because she's got the money. But anywho, at this point, Brenda is tired of her complaining. She's tired of her being drunk because she's pouring drinks.
Drunk and she's just like now she's just like talking.
Yes.
Off talking out of her mouth, and she calls them like simpletons.
Yeah,
she's like, y'all two are
y'all just housewives.
Yeah, she was like, y'all are just like a bunch of simpletons.
Right.
And then Brenda's like, okay, I've had enough.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm tired of you being drunk. I'm tired of you feeling sorry for yourself. You were literally always been gorgeous. You got a freaking Oscar. You're living large. Get over yourself. And it just leads to a big fight amongst the girls.
I beg both of you to stop this right this minute. Annie, what? You choose. Who's your friend, me or Brenda? What? Yeah, for once in your life, make a decision. Who's your buddy? Some Beverly Hills science project? Or a woman with her own aisle at the supermarket? Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not getting involved with this. You both have severe psychological problems, and I'm the nice one here. I'm not like this. What? Yes, nice one. Well, my God! You mean the rag mop, don't you?
I mean the one who can't manage a simple declarative sentence.
The wimp, the wuss.
They end up smacking each other.
Yeah, they smack each other around a couple times. Annie gets smacked, then Brenda smacks.
Yeah.
Elise smacks Brenda, and then it kind of just turns into a whole feud. And then Annie's just like, hey, I thought we were supposed to be friends. And then Elise is like, friends, you never call me. And then Annie's like, well, sweetheart, you're unlisted. Like,
it's different times.
You're famous.
Yeah.
Like, I can't look you up. And then she's like, and then Elise is like, Brenda, you didn't even invite me to your son's bar mitzvah. And then Brenda's like, you wouldn't have come.
It was in Hebrew. I would have still liked an invite. Thank you very much.
So she can decline the invitation.
I think it's important that you invite me.
So they're basically arguing, and they're just like, we're not real friends. We're only, here just to get revenge on our husbands, and this isn't real friendship.
Yes. And then they end up angry, going their separate ways. They all make it home at this point, and I guess Elise, doesn't feel good about this fight. She ends up going to Brenda's place for comfort, and she expresses to Brenda that she doesn't want to end up like Cynthia because she is a drunk and she doesn't want, her life,
which was kind of mean. I don't end up like Cynthia. I mean, like, yeah, I get it, but it's like, dang. Oh.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
I guess
I want better for myself. So, Elise and Brenda have reconciled, and then the next morning they go to meet up with Annie, who is at their headquarters. And at this point, Annie wants to leave the club. She's over it. She doesn't want to do the revenge thing anymore. She's like, we've turned into what they think we are, just petty women, angry.
Just angry and nasty.
And then
vindictive. And then Brenda and Elise are really just trying to, get Annie back on to the swing of things, back on board. And they're like, look, we've reconciled. We're good again. We need to finish this out, and we need you.
Yes. And Elise is working her sobriety. She's sober, and she's going to do the play. Yes. And their plan is back on. And they also say, like, a tidbit. They're like, we want this to be more than revenge. We have, bigger plans in store for us.
So they kind of just agree, like they were thinking like too small with just revenge. Like at this point it needs to go beyond that.
Yes.
And they have to see this through.
So the plan is back on. And we start this off by Elise going to meet with Bill's new girlfriend, Phoebe. And she's basically like telling her like, hey, I want to do the movie with you. I want to play your mother. And Phoebe's so excited and whatnot. And Elise is like, but in order to do this, I think we really need to get to know one another. Wink, wink.
Cut to, now we see Morty. He's at his electric store, which just looks like so run down. I just like don't understand. Like looking at it, I was just like, this looks like a Goodwill for like electronics. It was like, how is this man a tycoon? But whatever. So he's doing a commercial. Oh, I also do want to point out the director who is doing the commercial.
Is the real director?
Is the real director.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. So Morty, he's doing this commercial for his little electronic shop, whatever. But while he's doing the commercial, he's interrupted by the police. They come to escort him. They say, "Hey, Morty,
you're under arrest."
And he's like, "What?"
Call my lawyer.
So he gets taken under arrest, and he's taken into police custody.
I think those were the police, and the police gave him off to the mob. Because at one point he's sitting on the back of the car. He gets out the car. They put a bag over his head and they throw him in the trunk.
Okay, so crooked cops.
Yeah, crooked. He goes from the police to the mob, which is
AKA Uncle Carmine, AKA Brenda's uncle.
Yes. Cut 2. Then we see Aaron back at his office, and we see Aaron. He's coming into the office.
Annie's ex-husband.
He sees his daughter, Chris. And Chris is like, oh, Dad, you're going to have one hell of a day. And he's like, okay, sweetie. And he goes into the conference room for his 11 o'clock. He walks in and he sees his 2 partners, advertising agency partners, with his ex-wife, Annie.
And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, well, I just bought out, let's call them Nick and Mark. I just bought out Nick and Mark's share of the company. Awkward. And he's like, what? And Nick and Mark see that this is, leading up to be a very awkward conversation. So they excuse themselves and they're like, well, it was a pleasure doing business with you, Annie. And they make their way for the door. And then, Annie gives Aaron the entire rundown. She's like, hey, I just bought them out. So, I'm now,
your boss.
Your boss. I own majority of the shares of this company. Yeah. And he's like, you can't do this to me. You're joking. Be for real. And she's like, no. She's like, I might fire you or something. And he's like, you can't fire me. I'm 50. No one's going to want me. And I have to start over. Please don't do this to me. And she was like, yeah, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, bye.
So now he needs a job because he can't. At first he was threatening to go somewhere. He's like, I'll take all my clients. And she's like, I don't need your clients. Also, I have a new multi-million-dollar client, so you're not needed. And he realizes I can't start anew.
Right.
So she's got his balls.
Yeah, the balls are in her court.
A booyah,
baby.
And then Elise goes to meet with Bill and reveals to Bill that his new girlfriend is in fact a minor, 16-year-old. He thought she was 21, I think. And nope, she's not.
Yes. So from their little meet and greet luncheon, she has found out that Phoebe dropped out of high school somewhere in Milwaukee or something,
Utah.
and she is not, you know, a 21-year-old.
She's out of age.
She is 16 years old, and he is mortified to find out this information. That's what you get when you fly too close to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you get.
Yes.
You had no business dating a 21-year-old. And now look at you now. Now she's 16. This is why you need to date women your own age.
That look like you.
This is why. This is what you get.
Yes. And not only does Elise threaten to, you know, go public with this if he doesn't act in line, she also gives him his portion of the share, his share of the portions of the sale of their assets.
From the liquidation.
Yes, which
was $1.
It was actually 50 cents.
But she gave him the whole $1.
She gave him the whole $1. Fine, you can have it all. Dude, you need a better lawyer because there was no way that y'all didn't do that in fine print. But he said she had to sell them, so whatever. There you go.
There you go.
And then we see Morty. He's arrived to his destination.
He's in a butcher shop.
He's in the back of a butcher shop.
He's
got the
cow
scariest
carcasses everywhere.
He's got the scary, very mob. Back of a meat shop.
Yeah.
They take the bag over his head, and he now sees Brenda and her Uncle Carmine. And they're like, ha, 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 it's the end of your road, Morty. She basically threatens to expose him for tax evasion and reveal his criminal activity. You know.
And the only way out of it is, so he has one of two options. Either he goes to jail, you know, for selling illegal electronics.
Fraud.
Or, you know, Brenda takes over and she's like the head honcho, the CEO, you know, the board. I don't fucking know.
She runs the company.
Director is the head of the company for Morty Electronics. Obviously, he'll still remain the face, but she will.
Because he is Morty.
Because he is Morty at the end of the day, but she will make all of the major decisions. And those are his two options. Either take that or he goes to jail.
Period, Pooh. He, of course, takes it. And before each of the women left, they gave each of their ex-husbands a card with a dress on it, and they told them to meet them there in an hour. Cut to the headquarters of the First Wives Club. The three ex-husbands have arrived, Bill, Morty, and A.A. Ron, and they're awaiting their destiny. Chris, I guess this is her
Annie's
new job.
daughter.
Yes, this is her new job. She's tells the boys that they are ready to speak with their wives to hear their fate. And she also tells her dad that she's a lesbian.
So then the guys, they go into the office to meet their ex-wives. They're all sitting in the room waiting on them. And basically they're saying...
The girls basically tell them at first, like, this whole thing was about getting revenge. But if they just did that, they'd be no better than them. And they want to do something more meaningful, and they have bigger plans for them. So they basically force the guys to fund a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping abused women. At first they're like, I don't want to do that, but you know, they're like,
they don't really have a choice.
Yes, you don't have a choice. And then we get a montage of the girls working, like doing construction on the building, meeting with women in need. Elise is
doing her play.
Yes. And the men are signing really large checks.
They're cashing checks. Yes. The girls are breaking necks.
Right.
You know, it's a great scene, and we see a little triumph from the trio.
Women. Yeah, so not only is it about revenge, they're doing it for a good cause now.
So then at the end of the montage, we now see that the three ladies, they are now at the grand opening for the Cynthia Swan Griffin Crisis Center for Women that is now in Manhattan. They named it after, of course, their friend Cynthia, who committed suicide. There's a huge crowd. The news is there. They're being interviewed. The news reporter even asks, is it true that you guys started this because your husbands all left you for younger women? And they're like, yes, it is. Of course it's true. And you know, it's a really heartfult moment. We see them opening this organization. I don't think it should be in Manhattan, but you know,
right? It's a long way to go from the hood, but okay,
right? Do women in Manhattan really need this?
I guess so.
Let's put it in the Bronx, maybe,
right?
Brooklyn, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yes. So the night of the grand opening, the first person we see arrive is Morty. He's with Shelly, and he's like begging her to come inside for just a moment, you know, to show her face. And she's like, "I will not do it. I'm not feeling special." we're supposed to be getting married. I'm not seeing that in our stars.
Yeah, she's thinking about calling off the engagement, and she's basically like, I'm not Brenda. And he's like, you know what?
You're
not Brenda.
He's also driving the Ferrari. I just thought about that.
Yeah, no, literally when Daddy Warbucks comes out, he's like, nice car. I used to have one just like it.
Oh!
It's your car.
Wait, that's hilarious. I didn't get that.
Yeah, he's like, nice car. I used to have one just like it.
LOL. Full circle moment. But yes, Morty is officially fed up with Shelly and
her crap. So he leaves Shelly in the car and he goes and enters the party. It's a grand event.
Everyone's
we see
there.
some heavy hitters there. We even see, is it Ivanka? Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump's ex-wife.
Really?
Yes, she's there. And basically she leaves the girls with some parting advice. She says, don't get mad. Get everything. Amen, a proverb.
Yes. And everyone part of the plan is also there, good and bad, the husband.
Yes, Ganella's there. The husbands are there looking miserable.
Yes.
And then, Brenda goes up to her son who's at the party. She asks him for a dance. They dance briefly, and then Morty interrupts, and he's like, can I cut in? She's like, sure. And then he's like, they have like a little moment. He's like, Brenda, tell me, was I always this old and boring? And she said, yes, but I liked you that way.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think I liked myself that way too. Aww. And then they have like a really cute moment. And then cut to, we see Annie, and she is talking with her daughter, and her daughter is very proud of everything that she's done. And and the woman that she has turned into, from the little no confidence, no backbone woman to a woman who stands for what she believes in, stands up against evil men. And then her mom is like, I'm so proud of you. You know what I think you need? Absolutely nothing. Period. You're perfect. And they have a great moment. Then we see Elise. She's drinking. She's not drinking.
They just say that her.
Yeah, we just know that the play's doing good.
And she's dating someone. They mentioned that she's dating someone from...
dating someone in the play who was supposed to be
that guy.
What's his name?
I don't know. Which is so funny that they did
Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Yes, we just know that she's dating someone from the play who was supposed to be Jon Stewart.
They just like, she's doing great,
but they cut him out. They cut all of his scenes out.
It's terrible. I wonder what scene they had for them in store, because it's literally just her sitting at the table by herself. Like, that's her, and the play's doing fine.
Right, the play's doing great. So all the women are doing great. Annie cuts in to do her little narration. She says that Brenda and Morty ultimately reconcile. They eventually will get back together. Elise is doing great with the play. She's dating someone in the play. And then Aaron reached out to Annie, wanting to get back together and wanting to come back home. And she told him to drop dead.
Kill it.
So it is a fantastic ending.
Bill flirted with Shelly.
Then Bill, Elise's ex-husband, he makes his way outside. He flirts with Shelly. He compliments her car without realizing that it's his car that he used to own. And then he asks her, how old are you? Because he got caught up last time with a 16-year-old.
Good question.
So he gotta make sure.
And the night's over.
We see a nice
successful grand
opening. And then so cut to the party's over. It's just the three ladies remaining inside the building. They're all in white, looking fantastic, superb, splendid. And they're just laughing. They're like, "Oh, we're so glad that we got back together. We're so glad we were able to do this in Cynthia's honor." And they're really happy.
Yes. And then they do another version of
cut to. I don't know how they segue into it though.
You don't own me.
So then they're like, you know what? I think we should do this little dance number that we did for Cynthia's 21st birthday. I think we should sing it. Then Annie's like, no, I can't sing it. And then Brenda's like, you don't own me. And then Lisa's like, I'm not just one of those silly girls. You don't own me. Don't tell me I can't go with other boys. Ba 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 ba.
Tell me what to do.
And don't tell me what to say. And when I go out with you, don't put me on display.
Pretty good. You remember. You don't own me. Don't try to to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'll never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young, and I love to be young. I'm free, and I love to be free. To live my life the way that I want. To say and do whatever I please. I'm young, and I love to be young. I'm free, and I love to be.
Everyone.
So they make their way out to the street. They start in the building. They put on their coats. They do this like 1-2 step number, and then they parade out into the streets of New York singing.
Nice. Who's your favorite wife?
Ooh, Brenda. But I want to be Elise when I grow up.
Brenda. Yeah, same. But I feel like I'm not as big. Of a
I would never
pushover,
want Annie's life.
But I feel like I'm Annie.
Not at no world, sound, universe would I ever want the life of Annie.
Hey,
Especially
she got
with
it together.
literally my husband sleeping with my
Yeah, that's
therapist.
messed up. All can agree that Bill.
I guess Cynthia was on to
No.
something when she said she wanted her strength. Because how do you make it through that?
Right. And I guess we can all agree Aaron is the worst husband.
Oh, he's horrible.
Terrible.
I mean, I would say, Bill's a close second with sleeping with, being a pedophile, of course.
I actually think Morty's I don't.
Morty's bad. They all are
They are
horrible.
bad. I'm kind of upset that they're going to get back together so easily. I feel like she should run him through the mud.
Especially if you're literally scraping pennies to pay the bills, and he's
That's so
buying
low down, right.
his new chick a penthouse apartment. They're all horrible in their own
Yeah.
right, really.
Also,
But Aaron's the worst.
they have to be really careful that their husbands don't try to kill them. They need to be real careful that their husbands don't get fed up.
Because this is actually prime time true crime.
Yes.
Yeah, this is prime time
I killed my wife.
like forensic files. Yeah,
Yes.
I killed my wife.
Yes.
This is how it starts.
Right.
This is your origin story.
Exactly. But all right, guys. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, review, download.
Like, rate,
Follow us on social
subscribe,
media.
review, download. Follow us on social media. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Pinterest.
Yes.
Apparently, we have a Facebook or something.
We do.
We've got it all. So just follow us.
Follow us.
All right.
But all right, guys. I gotta get to editing. Gotta get this to the editor so they can start editing.
We got to get to the editor's room.
Yes. All right. Toodaloo, mother lover.
Bye.
Bye.